following is a special presentation. From the Captain Esports Network.
This isn't just a game. This is iRacing. Fresh after a break for the 4th of July, we are back at it again tonight on a Monday night for Sim500 action. The NCAA11.org Cup Series returns for the 17th race of the season here at the Pocono Raceway, virtually on iRacing. We get you ready for 90 laps and 225 miles of racing coming up here momentarily from the Pocono Mountains. I am the captain. We welcome you in on this Monday, as mentioned. Got some great racing coming up here for you this evening. And of course, as usual on a Monday night, it would not be proper if I was not joined by Mr. Clam Chowder himself, Kevin England, fresh off his bowl of chowder, which then reminds me to ask, how does a Jersey guy eat clam chowder? But
chowder.
Just gonna leave that one
alone. You gotta say it right, Chris.
Chowder. I'm sorry, I forgot the ER doesn't exist. But hey, man, welcome back. Good to be back with you at Pocono Raceway here. This is there's a reason why it's called Tricky Triangle. Some call it a roval. It's where the term first was deemed by Darrell Waltrip. You got technically 6 corners, even though it's only 3, and 3 different straightaways, 3 different corners, probably 3 different concession stands, 3 different parking lots. I don't know. I'm kidding, making stuff up now. But either way, we got a tricky track on our hands here.
It has the largest bathroom facility in all of NASCAR, too, just to put it out if you're going big here. I love this racetrack. You know, we race all over the Pennsylvania region, and we run a bunch of different tracks right near here. Hamlin Speedway has one, and you know, so for us, this is hometown stomping grounds. There's nothing better, Chris, than being in the infield with a bottle of your favorite beverage, standing along the fence, just walking along the racetrack, watching the cars pile into turn number 1. And what could you say about this? Is one of the most either infuriating or favorite racetracks of a driver, and everybody here tonight is on a different spectrum when it comes to how they like this place, because there's just a one word to describe it. It's called compromise. There's no way to get around this racetrack fast without having a challenge of one corner or another, or the third. There is no fourth corner.
No, there is no fourth corner, and it is very tricky. You got to either be good in 1, be good in 2, or be good in 3. As I've always preferred, turn 3 is where I want to be good at, because, well, that's the straightaway you go to the start-finish line, and one of the longest straightaways in NASCAR racing is that front straightaway there at the Pocono Raceway. But I did overhear Kevin say that he talked about piling up in turn 1, which might be a little too soon to use that term after yesterday's Cup race. So either way, let's look at the point standings going into tonight. Kevin King, who is on a 6-race winning streak. For those who don't remember, he's pretty much won every race since the beginning of May. He leads right now in the point standings by 94 over Mike Kelly. Tyler Dalton is third, Chad Coleman, Anthony Calantoni. But the bubble's down there at the 20th position where Cody Giles sits. We do have just a few races left before we get into the playoffs. And that stretch here, of course, begins here tonight at the Pocono Raceway in race number 16 of the season. We still got the stretch run of Indianapolis next week, Darlington. We get a week off in August, and you got Richmond, Michigan, and, of course, Daytona, Atlanta, Watkins Glen, Bristol, Kansas, all that before the playoffs start in October. So plenty of racing still to go, but you want to get yourself in position. If you've had your struggles this season, Kev, it is time to kind of try to turn that thing around and just trying to put some solid finishes together.
Yeah, one thing I noted when trying to get things set up as I'm on the left coast broadcasting this time is a lot of drivers were in early, just trying to get things sorted out. This is a racetrack, even if you practice at it, it requires a discipline, and you have to talk, Chris, about the tunnel turn.
Yeah.
I know, and I agree with you that turn 3 is one of the secrets, because coming off to the front straightaway is so important. But if you don't get through the tunnel turn, you have a head case all the way through turn 3, because you just want to nail that, and yet it's the hardest turn to be consistent in all of NASCAR.
It is. Yeah, you're 100% right. Turn 2, you have to nail that every time, because you could put yourself in a box where you're 2 or 3 wide going down to turn 3, and that's probably the part of the track that actually spreads out the widest. You can almost go from the bottom of the track up to the top. But yeah, a reminder that, and we should bring this up, Kevin is, he's out in Seattle. He's drinking a lot of Starbucks right now, and he is out there on the left coast, as he calls it, and so he's going to sound a little different here tonight. On the microphone and stuff as he gets in here and does the broadcast tonight. So we appreciate his commitment, and out there in Seattle, where it's probably raining, because what else does it do in Seattle? And
actually, it is gorgeous.
Really?
Comfortable. There are 100 degrees forecast for New Jersey tomorrow. I am
right.
quite
I did
happy
hear that.
Out here.
Cal and Tony did share that with me. It's like 90 right now, still at his house. But
yeah, it's been crazy hot.
Either way, qualifying about to begin. As it is presented, as always, presented by 811. Notes below and call before you dig. Kevin King entering tonight's race with not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 11 poles so far in the series. And we'll see if he can make it number 12 here this evening. Tyler Dalton with 3, Jorgensen with 1, and Mojica with 1. We have had all. If we had a Busch Clash or a Bud Shootout in this series, there'd be only 4 drivers right now in that race. So, interesting little stat there for you. All right, get on track here. Eric Arnold, the Michigan driver, in the 31, the 811 car, going to be out there on track. Stony Benfield, a lot of cars getting out here early and going to get their lap in as per usual. If you see the green in their qualifying times, that means they're on a faster lap. If you see the yellow, that means their lap's about the same. If you see purple, then they're looking at the pole potentially, or at least fast enough to be the pole at that moment. As Eric Arnold finally just brings it off turn 4, scrapes the wall. That's going to kill his lap. He's trying to stop the car, get there before the line, and he's going to be able to do it. He's looking good. So he'll be able to restart his lap.
Reset that one.
Ooh, that was close. Oh, those memories. Well, here's the Chesterton Ford of Joey Jattina, the boss man.
So customary trying to get all you can off of that third corner there.
Yeah, you got to be very patient on the throttle. I mean, you're down there. I mean, most cars you'll see on this first lap, which I'm thinking is going to be the fastest lap around here, you're going to see the cars get up there on the warm-up lap towards the top of the track so that they can make that straightaway even longer. The straightaway is, 3,750 feet, I believe. And, obviously going up to that top groove, longer way around, you can stretch it to maybe 3,800 square feet. There's no square feet involved here, straight feet. And
left feet.
Yeah, left feet, right feet. And looking at this Diet Mountain Dew car of Mark Jorgensen as we cut over to him. He's in the purple right now as he brings it off turn 3. Good exit right there. Down to the start-finish line. And then pretty much from there, it's the drag race all the way down to turn 1 as he crosses the line. 54-64. Glenn Campbell 55 flat. Mike Kelly with a 79. Good lap there. Fuller 54-41.
Jorgensen's going to run a second lap as he goes down the Long Pond straightaway. We'll watch how he takes it through. We saw Joey Jattina earlier. He was about a half a lane up off that yellow line. Some of these drivers like to be in that zone. Some of them It might even go down to the apron as he gets loose off of the corner. The car swings wide. He's going to just keep his foot planted in it as he heads to turn 3. Right down on the yellow line. He's carving that lower part there so he can use as much racetrack, and well, he's going to give it up and head to pit road.
Right, so his green flag pit stop. Now, why would he maybe stay a half a move above that yellow line as we ride with Kevin Kane here? Let's see what he can do on this lap. And the answer to that is there is some bumps right there at that yellow line. So King actually misses the bottom here in 1. But it gets a little loose there coming off the corner. Probably going to be 4th gear all the way down this straightaway. We'll see if he touches 5th gear. Probably won't. You never know. But yeah, you want to keep it a little above that yellow line in the tunnel because there are some bumps. It does hit 5th gear for a split second. Right there's those bumps in the tunnel. Get down to about this with the green lamp right here.
Sometimes the drivers look for the cones as they go through. There's cones.
Yeah, it's actually the cones. I thought it was a lamp, but it's cones. Yeah, you're right. That's a pretty solid lap. Turn 1 he might be a little frustrated with. He's purple at the last segment. Boom, 54-60.
Bounced it in.
He almost blew it in turn 1 though. Scott Simley at the 3rd. Good lap.
1, turn in. Got bad news for everybody as I watched Mr. King's social media feeds. He won his NIS race recently.
It's something to say. I've heard some people say he ran about a lot of laps this week at this track.
I might think that not only is he good, but if he got practice, he's going to be even more formidable. Is that even possible?
Right. As Nelson Rivera on track right now, Jose Medina's out there. King's running another lap, believe it or not. Which, that's one thing you have to do here at this track. If you struggle to get a qualifying lap put down, you got to get out there and run 2. But Kevin, I think he's just looking to better his lap there at a 54.60. Let's see if he can pull this one off, if anyone can. 54.53. It's Kevin King that can do it. So King's going to win the pole. His 12th one of the season, presented by 811. No, it's below. Call before you dig. It is time for us to go trackside for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, cars are getting warmed up. Anthem is over with. And we're going to see a pretty familiar starting lineup here at the front as Mark Jorgensen once again falls up short of getting the pole behind Kevin King, who gets the pole, and he's ran, as you heard Kevin talk about, he's already won an NIS race and probably plenty of A-Fix, but he has run plenty of races this week. The California driver looking to make it win number 7 in a row as Mark Jorgensen Jr. will start there on the outside of the front row. Scott Simley, great qualifying effort there for the 12 car. Tyler Dalton, who is outside. Chad Coleman and Mike Kelly there, row 3. Row 4, Jose Speedy Gonzalez and Justin Fuller. Anthony Calantoni, Rod Mitten, row 5. Row 6 is Robert Friery and Joe Hudson at 43 car. Glenn Campbell, Wesley Donaldson, Kevin Stone, Justin Monzer, row 8, row 9, Bobby Wetzel, Stoney Benfield, Nelson Rivera, and Eric Arnold, row number 10, row 11, Joey Chatina, Jose Funky Cole Medina, Alan Wild and Scott Stenzel, Richard Beasley, Charles Van Schaik, Josh Parker, Seth Foudy, all these guys not getting a lap in. You know, they just start pretty much by their iRating here. Matt Rondolasso, Doug Sigmund, Brian Wortman, Mark Schrader, and that'll be it of the 32 starters that will start the 17th race of the season here. As you see the cars roll up the Long Pond straightaway here. Race information tonight, 90 laps, 225 miles. I can pretty much help you out with this one on fuel. 2 stops, and there's no question about it. It'll be a 2-stop race at least. You're hearing about 38 laps, so 38, 76. We get you to 90, no problem. But I think there's some strategy play that could come into play here when it's all over with. But the iRacing default weather, 3 sets of tires, and 2 overtimes. So after some time off, Kev, these guys have had a little bit of a rough stretch here this summer. A little bit of a June swoon, if we're going to talk baseball terms here, that they have had. Obviously, you hope that we get to see the good side of the racing here. We finally broke the streak of the overtime finishes. Now, it's a matter of can we get some green flag racing going here. So, Kev, let's see. As we welcome us back here from the 4th of July, we're going to hit the green flag. And as always, Kevin England on the call for the start of this Pocono race.
Pace car about to go behind the longest pit road on the circuit as Kevin King has Jorgensen to his outside. They dropped a hammer. They're going to come up through the gears here. Will they fan out? They do. Heading down the long straightaway as, wow, look at that on the inside.
Bobby
what
Wetzel.
a great run Mr. Wetzel got as they dive into turn number 1. It's the outside lane of Jorgensen running out to the Long Pond straightaway with the lead. Side by side for second. Here comes the outside lane on the move.
Yeah, Tyler Dalton going to go to second, and Mike Kelly going to cross over on Kevin King as they go into the tunnel turn for the first time. Fuller up to the 5th position with Simley, who has fallen back to 6th. And yeah, they're all types of wide through turn 1 there. I mean, they were all the way from the bottom up to the outside wall, which you got to talk about this bump that's also over there in that turn 3 and 4 area, or turn 1 area. I don't know where I'm talking about, but turn 1 area of the track, there is a serious bump in the middle lane that can cause your car to get out of shape. As Jorgensen going to bring her off 3. Robert Friery unintentionally is heading towards pit road as he spins and clobbers, and I mean absolutely clobbers the tire barrier at the end of pit road.
Wow.
I mean, the hood.
Unbelievable.
I think the hood just flew to Wilkes-Barre.
Wow, that is unexpected. You get loose up off the corner there, and there's usually so much racetrack for you to catch up with it. But unfortunately for Robert Friery, he made the highlights on lap number 1.
He's not going to call that a highlight. He's not going to be happy, obviously, after that mistake on his part. Let's get a quick replay here. But this is 3 wide in the bottom here. You got Eric Arnold to his middle, Glenn Campbell up top. There's Wetzel. And yeah, you can see already 77's out of shape going through the corner. And unfortunately tries to overcorrect that. Whammo! I mean, there's a souvenir hood right there.
Yeah, in the old days, he'd have been okay, but they extended that pit road back off the fence all the way back almost to the end of the corner. And what a terrible, you know, all the anticipation you have of running a race and come out and have it all come to an end on lap number 1.
Back here, looked like one car getting out of shape was Stoney Benfield, the faster pastor up there. 13th position, looks like he almost got the wall. You see Mons, you see Colvin, you see the sour worms or gummies of Jose Gonzalez there, and then there's Calantoni, who does not claim this to be a home track of his, even though he's from an area that's closer to Pocono than Dover. Figure that one out. I was having a little bit of a debate about that with him.
He's funny. One of those Northerners that associate with New York. Wetzel.
Well, it's weird. He calls Dover. He calls
Philadelphia or something. So that's Pennsylvania to him.
we were talking before the race. I said to Tyler, I was like, dude, that's like you calling Charlotte your home track instead of Darlington being in South Carolina.
They really need to build something in the New York area. The closest thing we had was the Trenton Motor Speedway,
Right.
which
Turn
one
one.
of these turns is based off of, right?
Turn one.
Which is now grounds for sculpture. Great place to visit, but it should have been a racetrack.
Oh man! Oh, hold on, Jose. A lot of cars getting loose off these corners as the weather kind of heats up here a little bit. The weather and the action heating up.
We were talking about yellow fever versus long flag runs. I think we're going to see long green flag runs.
Agree.
If we get this thing sorted out where everybody stretches out, then you end up racing the car in front of you and looking at the rearview mirror at the car behind you. This is what you want. Callantoni down on the bottom, hard charge into turn number 1, got the run off of turn number 3, going to use the draft of Mons out in front of him. And can he roll up here? He gets alongside, he'll put the nose against the door just like that to draw the air up onto the back of Benfield's car so he can maintain the advantage and get the entry dive down into the bottom. Here you want to be on the yellow line, and how about the run for Benfield on the outside? He's going to carry the momentum and clear almost. Callantoni still there, quarter door bumper.
Sounds like a podcast.
Callantoni down on the bottom, just trying to do whatever he can, and this is how hard you work to execute one pass. So track position, this is a demonstration of how hard it is. He's going to have to hit the reset button. You can only run down on the bottom for so long, Chris, before you wear your stuff out. So sometimes the better part of valor is to just tuck back in line and try it again later.
Now, speaking of podcasts, Justin Pennick, I see checking in on chat. He's the host of this Talking Giants podcast, so appreciate him hanging out here and watching us this evening. He also said at Dover, by the way, 100% the home track, which I'm kind of confused because technically, though it's not a NASCAR raced track other than sanctioned, I would think that anybody from New York would claim Riverhead, right? As contact between the 84 and 75, I think. Would you claim Riverhead or Islip? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, you know, of course, cup racing, talking about a lot of drivers would call Dover. Think of Martin Truex. Now, Martin's in Marietta, which is along the shore, and if you catch the Lewis Ferry, you're basically there. So,
is Kevin King gonna move?
I kind of like this racetrack, but I have to say, unless you just have some sort of zen with it, it is a really difficult racetrack.
It is very difficult. You see Kevin King trying to get around Tyler Dalton. Dalton's fighting there on that top side. Just that battle for the second position. Mike Kelly right there ready to pounce. So is Justin Fuller. And Dalton able to hold on. So you can see right now it's pretty slick and pretty tough to pass right now. On that bottom side, you almost have to get the run off of turn 3. And maybe in turn 1 is the area you want to make the passes. Stoney back to the inside of Callantoni. There's Mons. Campbell is there. There's the Frito-Lay's 81 car of Parker. Yeah,
you get one car that misses a corner and everybody backs up to it, and then the cars in front of you catch a little of that draft. You get side by side, and next thing you know, you've got a stack with a long zone in front of you, and everybody's licking their lips right there behind the leader of the pack there, just trying to see if they can get the run as Kevin King, as you see, got by. And here comes Mike Kelly on the charge. He's down to the inside trying to get the pass here as we head to the tunnel turn one more time.
Yeah, Kelly's going to get that run to the inside, a little below that yellow line. Got to be careful of that. That'll upset that car. As Fuller looking out to the top side here.
There was a time you wouldn't go side by side through that corner, but nowadays I think it's fair enough. The outside lane can hold its own through the tunnel turn with somebody down underneath.
Fuller about had
that's
it for
a
the
normal.
infield.
That's a normal, like, yeah, okay. it feels skatey in the car, but you're like, did I hit it? No. Oh, we're all good.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch here at 11th position, everybody here is still fighting. Mons is having his race week blinking that just kicked in. Here's as Callantoni
He's very
clears
kind to
Campbell.
pull up and let them go by, give them a lot of space. Where did
Mons
he
is there
go,
somewhere.
Oh. Wow. Now imagine you're right in the mix, boy. You have to have a
Trouble in the back.
constitution to understand
Trouble
that.
in the back. Somebody just went for the infield. It looked like Elliott Sadler.
And we do have a yellow.
Scott Stenzel. Holy moly. I saw a car dart to the left. the second time we've referenced the Elliott Sadler wreck here. Not in here, but tonight in the room. As first caution waves here at lap 9.
See if we can figure out what happened here with him.
He had to have had help. I had to have help with English. He had to have had help because it was like in the middle of the straightaway. All of a sudden, the 42 was hanging to the left. Let's see here. Did Charles Van Schaik try to get in line? He has zing! Oh, man. Oh, wait into the barrel at a bad angle.
Oh, right in that spot where the crossover gate is. That's the best place to shoot photos across the backstretch there.
Oh, a photographer will agree with you at this moment.
Yeah. And they would have got a great shot there as he comes sliding into that angled shot. That's about as hard as you can hit back there.
Unfortunately, Van Schaik just missed the angle there trying to get into the line there to get in draft of Stenzel, and unfortunately, they got a hook here.
Yeah, very, very strange. You generally don't see that on the straightaway. Just misjudged it, to your point. I'm not sure if had a better run than he thought.
Now, of course, Casey Carrington's hanging out in chat, and he's got his football head on because, well, there's a big football game that's come out today and on chat, and everybody's playing it now that's got it, and I'll be playing it probably later this week myself. But I think if we were to call football penalties, I don't know if that would be a block in the back, Casey. I would probably more call that a unnecessary roughness penalty. So, either way, 15 yards, first down, and first caution is here come the leaders to pit road, as this is going to make this interesting, Kev.
Will they take tires?
I'm probably taking tires here, one.
I think so, too.
But I'm also here topping this thing off with fuel because we are looking at a potential one-stopper the rest of the way here.
The entire field's going to come in here. The question is 4 or 2.
Right.
Let's see.
Now,
everybody's going to go for rights.
Jose Gonzalez
looks like
stays
Kevin's
out.
not
2 tires.
changing.
Yep, Kevin King 2.
Kevin didn't take any, did he?
They might not. It looks like fuel only. You're right. Tyler Dalton 2 tires. A lot of fuel only here.
I think they looking at track position and know that if they changed any tires and somebody, we're not that far, and I say this with, me and the little robot on my sleeve. I don't feel like tires make that much of a difference, because when you have worn tires, you just adjust your line, but your ability to turn in the corner, meaning the grip to turn down,
right,
is dependent on how fresh the tires are. So my sense is I would love me 4 tires, but that cost me 6 positions. That 4 tires is not going to make a difference unless we run green all the way to the finish.
Well, we'll update the pit stops and talk about what's going on in Sim 500. That's coming up. We'll take a break real quick, come back, get you more racing here from Pocono Raceway on the Captain Esports Network.
This tree is going to look great here.
Did you call 811 to protect your underground utilities?
I can't wait to see these roses come up.
Dig, dig, dig! Wait, we forgot to call 811.
Before you dig, make sure you can. Call 811 to know what's below. It's up to all of us to protect the ones we love.
All right, welcome back to Pocono. A reminder again, if you're looking for some great shoes and gloves and other great merchandise to check out and experience, to upgrade your experience on iRacing, make sure you check out 4dracewear.com. That is, of course, based out of the Indianapolis area. Jim Herrick does a great job with racing shoes that I have right here behind me, gloves and all, especially with the Brickyard 400 coming up this week, which is a special event for iRacing. You could upgrade and have your shoes and gloves and hats and shirts and everything else that they have there at 4dracewear.com. So make sure you check out their website. Do it after the race so that you stick around and watch this great race and go from there. So appreciate Jim Herrick, though, for hanging out and always supporting the Captain Esports Network. And he's been there from pretty much day one since I came back on iRacing some 4 years ago and got back into the full broadcasting and stuff. So, all right, getting ready to go back to green. Jose Gonzalez has stayed out. Everybody else, fuel only or 2 tires. The first guy on 2 tires is Tyler Dalton. The first on 4, Mark Jorgensen Jr. going to restart in the 10th position. Go ahead. No. Here's my only worry for this situation, Kev, is the point of, 1, turning your mic back on before you talk, because here I am failing, and 2, 3 wide down to turn 1 as we go back green here at lap 13. But point number 2 real quickly here is obviously Jose Gonzalez is going to be a little defensive here from the standpoint of that one stop is for everybody coming in and topping off. He's had to save fuel under caution to get to the one-stop strategy. So did he save enough? But you were talking about, the one-stop strategy call here, and you actually are a fan of the move that these guys made.
Yeah, I think if he stays out there, he can maintain the track position. He's still in the same tactical as everybody else. They all have to stop. He's not going to have any tires to go in, because if he puts tires on during his stop, he could change 2 in the time that it's going to take to fill them up. But yeah, we'll see. As King under attack as they go across the start-finish line. The 26 scored the leader on that lap, but I have to suspect that Kevin wants to get out to clean air as he tucked back in. Look who's sitting there in 3rd, Chad Coleman.
Josh Parker up to the 4th position.
Josh Parker there. So my sense is we're going to see some of these drivers, and I'm sure Kevin's looking in the rearview mirror and at the stat counter as to who's running where, and seeing some of these guys that he knows are going to put on a bit of a challenge here.
One thing
as I think we heard Josh Parker tell us it's time for him to step it up.
As I wonder, we're more 3 wide racing back here with Jorgensen. My only question I have here, that just from evaluating what I've seen so far at this track, it looks like it is tough to pass on the bottom. So if you're Kevin, if you're Chad, now Kevin can obviously, hold on, Kelly, as he gets loose there off. Oops, Benfield into a couple contact here. Wesley Donaldson. Everybody splits around 4 wide. The question I was going to get to there in just a second with this situation is, and Kevin probably knows how to handle it because obviously he's been up there with the big guys in the Coke Series, but how do you complete a pass on the bottom if you're seeing the outside lane get that run? Ooh.
It is really about what we see behind it. Look at the 2. Is that the 2? That's the 2.
The 12. Is you talking about similar here?
Okay.
Yeah.
The darn guys that get me every time. When you have somebody pushing you and you're in the draft, you can get that run to the bottom. And then if you could squirt there and get a nose ahead of them, you might be able to drive them out as hard to say. It is, as you're saying, difficult, but it's not insurmountable. If you get just the right set of circumstances, you can make that run.
As we watch Jorgensen bring it down to turn 1. Units number 51 right there in front of him, of course, the Justin Fuller, the New York driver there, as he's there in the 6th position. But yeah, you see right here, like Parker's going to get freight trained because he's out of the draft down the Long Pond straightaway here. But you go, you come out of turn 3, and if you're Kevin, I mean, you don't have to worry about Jose drafting off a car there in front of him, but it's just like that outside line carries that momentum, and it's almost like you have to be able to side draft at the right time to make that happen.
You're almost looking to hold the advantage till you get down here to turn 3. When you come off the bottom, if you can get the run, then you could use the speed down the straightaway. But I agree with you. It's almost like a penalty when they stack up to your outside.
So here's the $1 million question, seeing what I'm seeing right now. If Jose Gonzalez is fast enough to stay up here with no tires, if I'm someone towards the back that's fast enough, why not pit this race backwards. Do it like a road course, because if you can get
as soon as you're there, you can.
I mean, especially right now, if you're in a spot where you pitted there, which I'm thinking everybody can get to the finish, but if you can't, why are you not already back on pit road, take fuel only, get back out there? Yes, you're by yourself and out of the draft, but you're out there by yourself. You can run your own pace and get out there, and then everybody comes to pit road. If this race stays green all of a sudden, I mean, you could undercut some cars and get up there towards the front, because not everybody's going to be as fast as you are.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think there's the possibility of different options, which we're going to watch and see if anybody takes that up.
And if caution comes out, you stay on the lead lap if you're within, I mean, pretty much everybody down to about 27th right now would stay on the lead lap if you pitted. So if you come to pit road, you pit the race backwards, you get a caution, guess who's the leader of the race? You are.
Yeah.
Will they listen to me? No, because they're better than I am.
3 wide off of turn 1.
There's a reason why
turn 2 there.
There's a reason why Kevin King's won more races probably this week than I've won altogether. As Fuller goes to the bottom for the lead here. He got up to second past King, and that's 4 tires working its way to the front. Justin Fuller to the lead. So that's how you pass on the bottom.
Yeah, and that's the condition where you have a car that's not as fast in front of you and you have 4 tires, you're able to take advantage of it. I don't know, one of the questions I have for Mr. King is he being patient? We saw him on the outset sit back there in third, just kind of ride along. He could save a little bit of fuel.
Is Glenn Campbell listening to the stream?
He was down on the. I thought he was trying to pit earlier. Saw him on the front straightaway, way down below.
Pit road. So yeah, something's wrong there. So let's say, wait a minute. Oh, Fuller just caught the wall on the outside.
He is boogie down, man. He's just wide open running that car.
3 wide back here to 3. Calatoni inside with Jorgensen, and I believe that's Simley up there at the top side. Nope, yep, it's Simley. Hey, I falled for it too.
Yeah.
Well,
sometimes you just get in a zone in this racetrack. You come down, you're behind a bunch of cars, you get the run, you hit that corner absolutely perfect, and boom, you're making passes. And then the next one, it sets up for you the same way. And next thing you know, you just climb through like 6 or 7 cars.
Right.
Everybody keeps looking out the left side going, where's he going?
So Fuller out to the front. And of course, you think back to the race they had, I believe it was earlier this season here in the Xfinity side, had a very wild finish. Seems like lately at Pocono on iRacing, every race I broadcast finds a way to have a wild finish. And it doesn't matter the league. So we might be in line for something like that again this evening. We'll have to see. But Calatoni's been right here in the middle of this hot spot, if you will, with the battling here around the top 10. Rod Mitten right there, as you see. Stenzel leaving pit road right now, but Fuller leads by a half second over King, who's now second. Gonzalez third. Coleman and Parker, your top 5. As these guys are battling hard here.
Yeah, we have pockets of little races all around the racetrack where drivers are, we talked about somebody misses a corner or something and it gets a little stack up and the group in front of them drives away. And then there's a little contest in a pocket like we're looking at right here is Calatoni.
Oh.
What a drive he gets into turn 2.
Eric Arnold
Usually
in trouble.
You look over.
Oh, sorry, Kev. Eric Arnold in trouble. Caution is out. Over here on the back Long Pond straightaway, looks like he's gone around.
This changes everything here.
Now, remember what I said about that backwards pitting thing that could have happened there?
Yes. Well, the question is, look at Jose Gonzalez. He looks like a genius.
He's going to steal some track position. I can't disagree with that, yeah. Let's see what happens here. Arnold gets a little loose off turn 1. Oh, he keeps it off a straighter. Nice job. And he's going to go over a couple of those drainage bumps. And just lazy spin it there in turn 1. And here's going to be a car that Mr. Wortman, he go over a couple drainage himself and brings the caution out.
Reminds me of a Ryan Newman crash over there. Same situation. He missed the turn in. And then when he turned down hard, car is running as hard as it can on the right side. And yeah, just never found the right corner entry.
And that's going to bring the caution out here for the second time as there goes Wortman going through to help trigger the caution.
That's the way it goes sometimes for Pocono for some people. They just, no matter what they do, they can't find the zone. Again, this track is a mystery to some.
So what are you doing here, Kev? You want track position? You want to throw some tires on, which would be, for a half this field, a second set of tires. I'm thinking if you've already taken tires, you're not taking a second.
I don't know if you want to give up your track position. You still know you're going to pit, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we're to the window. If you do pit, when you pit later, you may not have to take as much fuel, which could be a difference. So I think a lot of them would go.
Well, don't tell Kevin King that. Jose Gonzalez, Chad Coleman, these guys, they're coming to pit road.
If you didn't take tires last time, would you take them this time?
Yes.
That's actually a more
would.
interesting
I probably
question.
Would. Well, and
Or would you say tires just don't make a difference here, and I'm not going to worry about it? Right side tires going on the 29, so we know
I'm going to
at
say
least 2.
Jorgensen
I would take
fuel
4
only.
here.
I'm going to say this. I think Kevin realized that him doing fuel only there was a move that, yes, it helped him maintain track position, but he probably was not able to obtain any kind of offense. So I wonder if that's why he went and put tires on here. So now he can go on the offense with the tires, where obviously if this race goes green the rest of the way now, you know, you have the one stop for pretty much everybody, and you go from there. So we'll have to see, but either way, caution out here for the second time here this evening. And Fuller stays out. Tyler Dalton, Calantoni, Rod Mitten, and Mike Kelly going to be your top 5.
One of the other interesting twists was he trying to save a set of tires for the end? If you got to an end game where you needed a set of tires, if we have a history of cautions today, then you're going to want a fresh set at the end if everybody comes in, because you can get beat on a really short stint with a heads-up charge. So
yeah, I agree. I've always been a fan of having a set of tires at the end in case, you know, you needed to use them or whatever. But it sounds like the way this the setup is rolling here, though, with not much tire wear, you almost wonder if I mean, yeah, you want the set of tires, but it depends on when you want to pit. I guess you get to a certain lap number, you probably got what you got at that point. So we'll have to see. But hey, Kev, you've been doing some Tuesday racing, right?
yes, sir.
Well, they're back.
Although I missed this Tuesday because I wasn't here.
Oh, well, obviously. And EJ O'Rourke went
Could
to
have raced
victory
with an
lane.
Xbox controller. Thought about that.
I know a few people that do that. EJ O'Rourke won Tuesday night's race at Talladega. Of course, they run Talladega in every series here in the Tuesday night series, except it's different cars. Tomorrow night, the looks like it's the, if I'm reading this right, this is the Gen 5 car that's going to run tomorrow night. The old, not the car tomorrow, but yeah, it's a Gen 6, I'm sorry. We'll run Talladega tomorrow night for 40 laps of racing. So make sure you get signed up if you haven't already. Go to sim500.com for that. Fun series that's sponsored by, of course, WBD Diecast, Wesley Donaldson, who helps run that whole show over there on Tuesday nights. Of course, Wednesday night, the Trans Service Truck Series. They've just started the playoffs. Justin Fuller with the victory lane at the Legacy Texas Motor Speedway. They are at Phoenix coming up here on Wednesday night. They have 3 races left in their schedule.
I would tell you, whether it's the Gen 6 car or car tomorrow, racing at Talladega is just a total blast.
Absolutely. I cannot disagree with that. So either way, go get signed up, sim500.com. That's their website. You can get signed up for any of the leagues there, or reach out to Joey Gittino, who's the boss man, or heck, you can even reach out to one of us and we'll help you out. Get connected with some of the leagues. Of course, the Sunday Xfinity Series League going to be wrapping up before Labor Day. And this one, though, unfortunately, that could wrap up anytime soon. So if you want to race in the Cup Series, I believe it is now shut down until next season. So you got to hold off. But either way, you can hang out and watch it, at least on the Captain Esports Network. every Monday night is Fuller.
Rodalasso up 20-plus positions here on this restart. Rodalasso coming to life in this race.
As Fuller takes him to green, Calantoni gets a good start on the inside lane. He and Tyler Dalton going to battle side by side as the top 11 cars stayed out here on this restart. Dalton
If he
way up.
wins this race today, I think he'll call it his home track.
Who's this now?
The 84.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Calantoni. If he wins, I think he'll change his moniker.
That's my home track now. I went to Victory Lane then tomorrow. Nope,
Yeah.
not my home track. That's funny. Yeah, Ronda Lasso, you mentioned their 8th position. Joe Hudson up to 9th right now. Nelson Rivera up to 7th. Justin Mons up to 6th. So a lot of guys in the top 10 here for the first time tonight is looking 2-3 wide here. Kevin King going to try to be patient there. He's got Jorgensen behind him.
This is going to be a full court press out there at about the middle to the back as everybody on fresh tires looking at track position, knowing what they just gave up, and they're going to want to get as much as they can. This is the time to make hay when everybody's close, fender to fender, door to door, bumper to bumper. It's a lot easier to pass somebody as they are alongside you versus running them down. So I would expect to see some of these drivers get rather aggressive and up on the wheel.
As we ride with Kevin King down the Long Pond straightaway in a tunnel turn. Yeah, you mentioned back in the heyday, the tunnel turn was like that corner you never went side by side through. It was like the equivalent of Darlington's turn 2. You didn't go to the outside in turn 2 back in the heyday, which of course at that time was turn 4. As we're watching King in a battle here. I keep seeing a little piece of this blue car, which is Rodalasso there on that outside. Actually, it's Joe. It's Joe Hudson who's there in that middle in that STP car as they're going to go four wide. Oh boy, something's got to give here.
Out on the bottom. Oh, what a turn in! Holy cow! I didn't know that was going to work for Jorgensen.
I thought that was Rodalasso on the outside. It was actually Hudson. I think it might even been Medina in that 24 car back there.
Parker just led the C's part for him, and he got a huge run to the outside, was able to carry all the speed.
Ooh.
Now he's looking down on low.
Hudson getting loose on entry. He's still trying to hold on to her.
He's going to stack them up back there as Parker going down to no man's land on the entry to turn 3. He's going to run through and clip the grass.
3 wide again.
Yeah, that's going to slow him up a little bit. And Jorgensen's trying to get the run as he's got a push from behind. He's got Jose Medina locked nose to tail. And as they run down this straightaway, that's going to provide the advantage to the bottom lane.
One lap ago, they were 4 wide. Now they're 4 wide in the middle of one.
Medina slid up and tagged Joe Hudson. Hudson had to lift. He's able to gather it up. He's got the 23 of Charles Van Schaik now on the attack.
I was going to make the joke that I think Kevin King found another gear because he was in this battle, and now all of a sudden he is already like 2 seconds ahead of it. He's like, I'm gone. I'm getting out of that mess.
Clear. Clear.
Run away. Oh, meanwhile, up front, Tyler Dalton, while that's going on, has gone to the front. Congratulations to him on taking the lead from Fuller. Calantoni up to 3rd. Kelly 4th. Mons now in the top 5. Ancient World Gaming car looking pretty good as, oh boy. This pack is getting
You've seen Tyler run this track a number of occasions. There's just something about this. It matches his driving style. And the longer we go, the faster he gets. So I think Tyler's going to have a little something for these guys at a top 5 finish tonight.
Lou Coleman laying right on that left rear of the 43 car. And, oh, he gets a little loose. Still loose. Hudson trying to fight her. I like the way that nose looks on that 43 car. It kind of gives me a little of a nostalgic, like old Dodge or Plymouth look to that nose. It's pretty cool.
My first NASCAR experience, 1975, sitting on the infield right about over there.
Was that during the fuel shortage?
Yeah. King Richard won that day, and he'll forever be a Petty fan.
Did he win like 7 times here or something like that?
I don't know, when was the first race at Pocono? Was it 73 or 5?
Good question. I know it was mid-70s. I remember IndyCar started here.
I know we talked about this, and I could probably look it up, as Dr. Pepper was introduced to us, and I drank a gallon of it at that race.
Oh, yeah, I forgot Dr. Pepper is a Southern drink. That's interesting. Let me get you that answer here real quickly. As you see Parker and these guys battle here. Tony's
Walker
moved up
jumps to
second.
the outside so he can get the turn in down to the bottom of the corner. You really want to be on the outside, and the secret is you're looking for the Pocono sign back there. Drivers decide if they're going to go to the bottom or the top, where to turn in. Do you turn in the O in Pocono or the P or somewhere in between? You could be precise to the actual letter of where you turn in, and these drivers all have their marks. When you come down the front straightaway here, which runs downhill, and you get to turn one, there's a bunch of, what are they, arborvitae or something against the outside wall, and the cones. Arborvitae, the tall, narrow evergreen bushes. Evergreen? Yeah.
Leave it to you to know trees.
You see them here on the outside wall, right? They surround the racetrack here.
The only trees I can name are Christmas trees, and that's literally, I know them as Christmas trees. I don't know what type of trees they are.
I probably got it wrong. Somebody will tell us.
1971, the first Cup race here at Pocono.
Okay.
But you see the battle up front here. Fuller's joined the battle, and you see Kevin King just got by Kelly to move the fourth. So he is coming up here now with those 4 tires ready to battle for the lead. As man, they're getting close to that wall. Tony's going to lead this lap. I think Dalton had to get out of it, and he lost a lot of momentum.
They're going to be 3 wide going down there into turn 1 with Fuller trying to make the move on the outside. He's going to turn down and block the momentum. As look who sits back there in third.
There's Kevin.
4 tires. Car sticks like glue.
Is this not like fun? I mean, these guys are just putting on a show at a track that you normally don't see. Like, you see exciting racing, but Pocono is just, I don't know, all of a sudden is like, people love racing here.
Now you look at who pitted and where they came out. Jorgensen Jr. is stuck back there in 9th, where King is back up to 3rd.
Now
and that all comes from just maybe one block. One thing didn't go your way, and somebody else got the advantage and was able to climb and climb and climb. And you end up working on a car and get stuck behind it. And next thing you know, you're not out of the, not out of the deep top 10 where you should be in the top 5 if you're carrying the speed that everybody else around you has.
As Kevin King got past Tony for a second, you saw Anthony actually got a little loose above him there off of turn 1. I got people in chat now trying to figure out what kind of trees they are. One thought spruce and then wintergreen maybe. Who knows?
Could be a spruce. Yeah, it could be a spruce.
I don't know how our conversations have turned into trees. That's interesting. But Fuller leading right now. And
not a boxwood, though.
Again, I just shake my... Oh, Hudson turned into the wall.
Oh, that's it.
And he goes spitting.
He's not coming out of that, yeah.
Scott Simley involved. That's going to be the caution for the 3rd time. And unfortunately, he's going to need more than Dollar Tree to get that car fixed. As the 43, unfortunately, and Simley go around. And 3rd caution here, right at, or just past the 1/3 mark. That's 66. Make that 56 to go. So, yep, still short, still 1 stopper. But let's see the replay.
Yeah, Hudson just had to check up at a bad place. You cannot jam the brakes on in that location. It's just not going to work for you. It's going to upset the car, and we saw the output of that. It was the 22?
Yeah, well, it started up in front of there. You can add Van Schaik to the list. It starts with Jorgensen. It looks like kind of shoves Riviera up the track. Or Rivera, either way. Pushes him up the track, and he gets out of the gas, and these guys get such a good run, and Hudson unfortunately just gets hooked. Kind of a chain reaction situation here. You look up here with Rivera, you'll see it right there, and then just unfortunately.
And a great job by Rodolasso, who was right in that mix to read the situation and just pick the right line, not lose his composure, and drive out of that in the number 49.
Get you the crash cam here real quickly and see that as Richard Beasley joins us in chat after his great start today. Wait.
Oh, that is so unfortunate. He was having a really good run.
Similarly, that looks like more like a netcode spin right there. Either that or he locked the brakes up, something like that. But all right, so now what are we doing here? Let's see. Callan, Tony, Kelly, Dalton, these guys come to pit road now. If you haven't taken tires yet, I'm taking tires now.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, this is interesting. So who's going to stay out? King, Fuller,
Parker, Mons, Jorgensen.
So some of these guys made their play earlier, and now they have the track position. That's good for Jorgensen as he struggled to get back up there. Now he's going to be a top fiver.
So it looks like everybody 4 tires except for, I see Gonzalez with fuel only, Wetzel fuel only. So some interesting strategy calls here. So we'll review them here in a second. Let's step away, get another break in. We'll come back and get you more racing here from the virtual Pocono Raceway here on the Captain Esports Network.
What a nice day to install my new mailbox.
Hi there, friend. I'm Dig Safely Man. My job is to ensure you call 811 before you dig.
Why do I need to do that?
Vital utilities like natural gas and electric run just beneath the Earth's surface. Damaging them can cause service interruption, environmental hazards, or personal injury.
I thought only contractors had to call before they dig, so homeowners do too.
Call 3 business days before you dig unless you have X-ray vision. Visit nc811.org to learn more.
All right, back we are here at the virtual Pocono Raceway. It's race number 17 of this Sim500 NC811.org Cup Series season as Kevin King leads. And we've got a smorgasbord of pit strategy going on here as we get ready for the green flag. Should get one to go this time by. If you get a chance to come into the Fort Wayne area where we are here, where I am, especially where Kev's not, he's over in Jersey. But if Kevin were to decide to come over here to the Fort Wayne area, and you do too, make sure you stop by MC Racing as they have a simulator set up downtown and a pretty cool deal going on there. A couple of simulators actually set up in more where you can go in and race all different types of simulators, including iRacing, where a couple of guys actually stop in there during the week and run some short track official races from what I understand. So pretty cool deal there, and a big shout out to Mark and the guys there at MC Racing for all their hard work and dedication to putting up a rig and letting people come in there and race. And it's the closest thing to real life you can do. I've raced the Indy car at Watkins Glen, ran a spec racer at a track in Japan that I don't remember, and you could too. He's got all different types of tracks, including Pocono and so much more. And you could check it out, of course, right there in downtown. If you ever come into Fort Wayne for an event or coming through, stop in and go racing at MC Racing. Pretty cool deal. It's a lot of fun, man. I was surprised at I don't race with force feedback, so that was different for me. And I actually spun in the boot in the Indy car. And I'm thankful that I remember Indy cars are rack and pinion, and that setup on that car is a rack and pinion. And as I got in there, I hit the wall and I felt the wheel just jerk out of my hand, and I let go. I'm like, nope, ain't doing this. I watched that wheel zing, 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 zing. I'm like, okay, good call on my end.
Yeah.
So.
All right, well, we just rolled the dice and reshuffled the deck here as everybody in the back now is in the same position as the previous restart, where we got fresh tires sitting behind old tires. We got drivers that need fuel. They have light fuel loads, which makes the car a little lighter. It'll be more responsive in the breeze. And, well, let's see how this is going to play out.
Kevin King leads them to the green flag. Parker with a good restart there in the inside lane as they race all the way down the front straightaway here to turn 1. 15 degrees of banking here, as Kev mentioned, after his home track of Trenton Speedway. Into the turn 1 section here as they work their way to Long Pond straightaway. See Donaldson going to give a push to Ron Lasso, who's up in the top 5 now.
That's the first time I think we've said Donaldson's name. He just has had a quiet race here, but now finds himself sitting inside that top 10 with a good charge.
Oh, get tight there off of turn 2. Very easy to do. What happened? What was that?
Yeah, that's like a nose to tail, nose to tail, nose to tail touch going through that corner.
I just heard some weird noise. What?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like in your head. You're like, oh.
Oh, man. So, yeah, we've got a whole bunch of strategy here. Let's actually, I don't do this sometimes, but we're going to right now. I'm going to bring up the board here and bring up pit stops. So I'm going to switch this over really quickly to pit laps so you can see where everybody's pitted. Lap 22 for King, 10 for Fuller, 22 for Parker, 10 for Mons, 11 for Rodolasso. So these guys that pitted at lap 22 and 34, Kevin, I'm thinking that these guys are going to get to the fuel window, get to pit road at that moment, and what can you do at that time? You don't take as much fuel. But I have heard of a bug that apparently has been going on iRacing, along with the DDoSing and other different things that have been happening on iRacing lately. Apparently there's a bug out there right now where no matter what you do with your fuel, that it'll actually do an auto fuel setup, so it might not fill your car up all the way. Heard it happen to Dalton last night, and you don't want to see something like that happen, so that could be kind of interesting to be on the lookout for here.
Donaldson on the charge takes over that 5th position. Now he's got a good push into turn 1, down to the tunnel turn. He heads and trying to chase down Justin Mons, who's sitting there in 4th, racing well. And well, look out front. The top 3 cars we've seen with speed, King, Fuller, and Parker, running nose to tail here. I'm surprised to see that Kevin can get away from these guys. I would have thought that they would have run in the draft, but I almost wonder if that's on purpose, Chris, is if you drop off the car in front of you, but not so much that you can't find the draft, then when you go through the corner, you have air on the nose. But Kevin's getting away from these guys, so I think Parker and Fuller would team up draft-wise and try to run them down. And draft is in play in this racetrack.
Absolutely. And you see that's what kind of keeps this packed together as they go down these straightaways. You could easily see the arrow coming into play and a little bit of separation, and see some contact back here mid-pack. But yeah, these cars, the draft holds them together, and some say that the iRacing draft is a little overpowering, and I'm going to agree with that a little bit, but I'm not going to complain about it, because that's what makes some of this racing really good, is being able to see these cars draft up to one another and make it work. You see Kelly going to make a 3 wide here, Medina in the middle, Mitten on the top side. And Kelly's going to try to slide up in front.
He's got to clear him. He's not going to be able to do it, I don't think. And now he is. Yeah.
Yeah, he got him.
What a drive off the bottom from the center off. He was able to drive away.
Kelly did take 4 tires on that pit stop there, lap 34. So he is one of the first guys. Matter of fact, he is the first guy that pitted at the lap 34 caution that has tires. So we'll have to keep an eye on that 2 car, because we're, let's see, 41. We're at, 48 laps to go, just about halfway, as Fuller drives the thing all the way down to Philadelphia, as I think he was trying to get a run on Parker for position. But 48 laps, about 10 laps or so, and you could be in the window to go the rest of the way on fuel, and you might come in short fill and maybe 2 tires or even no tires to go to the finish.
Actually, I think Fuller and the 81 were swapping positions. Fuller pulled down to allow the 81 to drive around him. I don't know, the 51 looks like he's struggling just a little bit as Parker is driven away from him. Maybe he thought he was holding him up. It's to his advantage if Josh Parker can run down Kevin King and they start racing. That would bring Fuller right back to him, as Donaldson and Mons have switched positions. Donaldson to 4th, Mons to 5th.
What if? Here's a little what if question. Is Fuller saving fuel a little bit here? He pitted at lap 10.
Could be.
We're at the lap 42 right now, which is 32 laps into a run. Up, caution. Forget everything I just said.
Wow.
Back here, 1 car turned backwards. It is Stoney Benfield, the faster pastor, has gone around in the 75 car. 4th caution. And this is going to make things interesting now. So what I was about to say about Fuller was he's saving fuel to try to get to a certain number so he could go the rest of the way to the finish. But either way, looks like Stoney Benfield going behind the wall.
Usually when you see them over there, they have a little bit of help, a little bit of tag played when you have an incident off of turn 2. Somebody's down underneath trying to execute the pass. just pushes up or misses the corner.
Nelson got him. Send him to the inside.
Yeah, okay. All right. Stoney was up there in no man's land. You generally don't run above that dark lane. So when you come back down, you're really trying to carry as much speed, but you may not have the run up off the corner that you normally do. And that speed adjustment might be why the 22 misjudged. You see how high he is above that second stripe, almost to the third one. And the car slid. So as he came off the corner, he's not carrying as much. Oh, that's a hard hit to the driver's side or passenger side.
Totally, because I mean, you'll see what. Oh yeah, right rear's dragging.
Yeah, right rear's done. That's too bad.
Yeah, tough break there for Stoney Benfield, who is the fourth caution here of this race. Let's see, I want to get a driver, and I want to pull up. Let's see who's out there in Discord for us to chat with. I want to find somebody like I don't want to jinx anybody either. that's where I'm like,
Yeah.
He was just the net.
Does anybody owe you money? That's the car to pick.
Yeah, no kidding on that one. You know what? Let's just to heck with it. He's gonna hate me for this, and so is Miss Weeks probably. Let's bring Justin Mons up here and have a word with him. Justin, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Mr. Scala?
I'm good, buddy. A fourth position right now, but the question I have is the strategy is a lot like my drawing all over the place. And so you hit it at lap 10. Talk about a little bit what you're thinking here, strategy-wise, trying to keep track position, but knowing that you're trying to make this one stop all the way the rest of the way.
I think it's going to come down to a fuel game, and Fuller's caught on to the same strategy that I'm thinking. So trying to stretch out this fuel run to the end, get a full tank and some tires, and rip her till the end, and then have a set left in the pits if we need it. So just trying to set up for the second half of the race and sit pretty.
How much have tires played a role in this race?
A lot. I mean, I say that, but we got lucky and got that caution after Kevin and all of them went down, and we only ran like 10 laps, so their tires already evened out to ours that already stayed out this long. So it does play a strategy, but until a caution comes out, it just killed it for them. So we'll see how this pans out in the second half. It's going to be a lot of fun with all these different strategies.
So I know you're not going to give me an exact answer, so I'm trying to think of the right way to ask this question to get the answer out of you without getting the answer out of you, for the sake of not telling everyone else. But can we expect the 41 car on pit road somewhere within the next 10 laps?
It's plausible.
Okay, that's all I need to know. All right, best of luck, bud.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Scala. Enjoy the show.
Hey, we've enjoyed it. Hopefully you have too. But running in the fourth position, and Justin Mons doing a good job. As let's get him down to his Ancient World Gaming team. So Kev, so I did my best to I knew he wasn't going to give me an answer. I mean, common sense. He ain't going to give me an answer. So that means I'm going to take that as a yes, is what he said. So 53, I think, is that number. 52 or 53. He comes to pit road, he puts tires on with fuel, and it has a set. So we literally have a road course type of race on our hands here.
Yeah, one of the things about being cagey like that, you definitely want to do it with some friends. It's a lot like racing a Talladega or that type of track. Because of the draft and what we talked about, ideally you would pit with someone else and have the exact same pit style stop strategy so that you could come out and work together.
So I'm looking over the numbers right now, and according to my telemetry, Justin Fuller, Justin Mons, Matt Rodolasso, Rod Mitten. Those four cars are the only ones that have not come back to pit road since lap 10. So those guys are at 35 laps now on their tank of fuel. So obviously you've had 3 cautions, as I put the Larry McScala hat on here. You've had 3 cautions, 2 laps to every one under caution, which is 6 laps because you get 3 under the green. So if I do the math, you get somewhere of, what, about 5 to 6 or 7 extra laps here potentially. So I'm guessing right around lap 53 is going to be the lap that they come to pit road. Let's see if I happen to score that one right. So as we come to the green flag, and you know what, we're going to step away and let you guys enjoy the sounds of the cars here as they come to the green flag. Let's turn it up here on the Captain Esports Network. Kevin King has gone to the lead as we watch Justin Mons kind of scrub the wall there just a second ago, but King leads by 1/10 of a second over Fuller. Mons now up to 3rd, Chad Coleman in the 4th, Mike Kelly, your top 5, and got about 5 laps before that lap 53 mark. Again, I think somewhere in that range is where you're going to see these cars come to pit road. The question going to be, does anybody else come at that lap number 2? I just thought about this, Kev, that pitted later in the race to get less fuel with tires, which could get them track position.
Yeah, I'm with you. My calculator burned out, Larry McReynolds. I can't figure it out, right? But what I do know is working, coming to lap 50, we've crossed the halfway mark, and the statement "smoke them if you got them" comes to mind. Us. These drivers are just going to be on kill from now. Before, when we saw drivers riding, trying to find the pace, figure out the entry in the corner, now they're just going to buckle down and run hard for the rest of the race, I believe. All going to change if we have a late race caution, but right now, I think drivers are planning to run this thing through, and they know if they don't have track position, they need to get it. They need to hustle. If they have track position, they need to keep it.
For the drivers who are open wheel fans, if you will, as Fuller gets a little tank slap there off turn 2. Fuller is almost, I think, running his own like IndyCar race here, and that's going to sound weird in a stock car. And why do I say that? What's the best way to save fuel in IndyCar? Don't be the leader. Get back there as Fuller gets loose again. But the problem is he's losing the draft now to Kevin, and is way out of shape. And you see right behind him, Mons is literally pushing Fuller. So Mons is trying to stay in the draft to the 51 to save fuel. So we're seeing a little bit of an open wheel strategy here out of a couple cars to save fuel, which is kind of interesting. I mean, if Gary Godso, a friend of mine, was watching this broadcast right now, he's probably having a panic attack because I just mentioned open wheel racing with stock cars.
I'll tell you, I think about whenever one characteristics you can know, if Fuller is up on the wheel, you'll see the car in yaw. Very Kyle Busch-esque, up out of the corner. He's getting everything he can up out of the corner, which carries the speed. But I'll tell you the one I'm impressed with, 4th place, Chad Coleman. looking for third right now. That 38's got a car for this racetrack, and Chad Coleman having an outstanding run here in the top 10. Of course, he's battling the other veteran. These two together make a career for the Hall of Fame, as Mike Kelly's been around forever. Wesley Donaldson, though, he just keeps quietly sneaking through.
Yeah, he just took advantage of the draft from Coleman to move up to the 5th position. You mentioned Mike Kelly, Hall of Famer. Yeah, he just actually, remember, got in this year. Was named into the 2024 class of the Sim500 Hall of Fame. So he'll join his buddy there, Chad Coleman, into the Hall of Fame. One of the cool things about this league, by the way, and this league's been around forever and a day. Of course, they've only been on iRacing about 7 years, but they, of course, raced back in the NR 2003 days and stuff. So there's, I mean, when I tell you Coleman's made like 1,200 starts now, let's not forget the, 100, 200, 300 starts on 2003 that are also there. So
there's some of these drivers that have been racing longer than some of these drivers are old.
That's fair.
Self-included. So,
that's fair.
I understand.
And you know what? I can almost put myself in that bracket now, because, I mean, I remember playing racing games back when I was 5, 6 years old, which that's 30 to 35 years ago now. So, some of these guys in here are in their 20s.
Looking back here just outside the top 10, there's a couple races going on. I see Kevin Stone back there battling for that 12th position. He just slid underneath the 92 of Rod Minton, having a good run tonight in the 17. Now he's going to try and chase down Jose Gonzalez, who looked good early, but I don't know. Something that happens at these racetracks, Chris, is we see how these drivers charge the corners. If you go up and slap the wall at any given point, just a moment, we see it out there in the back.
I saw do it.
And it will take speed out of the car, and maybe that's what's going on with Jose, or fuel mileage, he's saving gas, not sure, but man, that battle from 2nd to 8th just won't give up. These guys are on kill.
I want to make sure I give credit before he loses it. Mons did take 2nd from Fuller a second ago. Coleman was able to get 3rd, and now Fuller's pushing Coleman to 2nd. So this is where that draft comes into play, and here we are at lap 53, so this is that number. I think from here on, you can make it the rest of the way on fuel, which would be 38 laps. As you saw, Fuller got loose, and that stuck him back on the outside.
Sideways. That opened the door for Kelly to tuck underneath.
So when do these cars dive in? Mons might be... Oh, he's just loose. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, I just feel like if you keep running in the yaw like that, I don't know that that's going to help Fuller on the long run. The car's just not going to go through the corner. They'll have speed, but eventually everybody's going to do what happens is you slide through the corner, they're just going to steer underneath you.
Saw Parker there get loose, it looked like, and he was all the way down at the inside pit wall almost, as he makes the pass on Rod Minton for position. Meanwhile, Kevin King is on his way to Hershey, as he leads this race by 2 seconds, almost 3 seconds, biggest lead anybody's had in this race. And I know what Kevin is doing is he's going to try to build as big of a lead as possible so that he can come to pit road when he's ready to and have that strategy in play. As Kelly pulls almost up, caution is out, as Kelly pulls a little bit of a slider there on Coleman and makes the pass. Scott Stenzel has gone around for a second time, and he's over here in the turn 3 area, it looks like. Oh, look out. And all that fuel work these guys have done. Hang on, let me find something. Anybody ate paper? Just got crumpled.
I just have to say, I'd almost feel like just give me 4 tires and fuel and let's go.
Yeah.
At this point.
I mean, everybody's in the window now.
The question is, how valuable are tires? We're going to find out.
Gets contact with Rod Alasso, and then he goes over the drainage and gets
over the pump,
spun out.
Not supposed to race down there.
He and Rod Alasso both kind of pushed up the track there, and they just come together. Unfortunate, Stenzel had to tow back to the pits, it looks like. But a tough break there. Watch, they both overshoot turn 2 here. Very, very easy to overshoot tunnel turn. Ron Alasso up the track, and then goes Stenzel up the track, and oh, never mind. They both checked up, and Simley kind of wasn't able to check up quick enough. And as I mentioned, there were storm drains down there, and not a big lick, but still decides to tow it back. That personal comfort number 42 car.
Sometimes enough is enough.
Here we go. So should see
right.
every car on pit road right here for tires and fuel, I would think.
And the $1 million question is 2 or 4. You're definitely going to take 2.
Yes. If you want
What a crazy pit road this is here.
Yeah, up the hill, downhill, wide. And the reason why you see those cones, by the way, over on the outside to the left there, those are more stained storm drains. They actually show those on here on the pits, but not over in turn 2 and 3, or in turn 1 also. As pit stops happen, look at you better, Cam. There we go. As race off pit road, Jorgensen going to be the first one, and that is fuel only. It looks like for those cars. We did have 2 stay out. King with 4 tires. Coleman, Mons, Kelly 4 tires.
We could see how much speed Kevin had in that run. He finally showed him what his hand was. He drove away from them. He was out by about 6 seconds all by himself. So given the speed he has with 4 tires, he's got some competent drivers he's got to get past, but I believe he'll be able to turn the car down and drive right by him.
So Medina and Wetzel stay out here. They put in at lap 43 and 44, so they've got a little bit more in the tank here. They might be thinking, you know what, we're going to go as far as we can here. If we get another caution later, it might bring everybody to pit road and they steal track position here. So that could be what they're thinking. But how about this? I got an interesting stat for you. So yesterday in the Cup race, not going to spoil it for those who have not seen it, but there were some speeding penalties, especially one particular caution. There were a lot. And for the first time yesterday, since the next-gen car was introduced, so we're looking at 2.5 seasons. So everybody picks on Chase Elliott for, you know, obviously he's had a great kind of not looked enough season where he's, you know, leading the regular season points and so on and so forth. Yesterday, for the first time in the next-gen car, the 9 car was speeding on pit road.
Wow.
Think about that for a second. That's 90 races?
Yeah.
I mean, how tough is that? I mean, come on. I mean, how hard is it?
On the other end of the spectrum, you'd have to look at Denny Hamlin. How many is he? Holy cow.
Once a week?
Yeah, it feels like it.
Oh, man. I just blows my mind how you can, because you know those guys push it to the limit when it comes to speed, especially on like pit road and stuff, and to not get caught for 90 races. I mean, come on.
Yeah, he might be a little more conservative, thinking it pays off statistically in the long run. You never know.
Right. All right, so let's reset here. So we got 33 laps to go. Jose Medina, Bobby Wetzel stay out. Mark Jorgensen, Tyler Dalton, Anthony Calantoni, and Josh Parker have either no or 2 tires. I say no or 2 because of the different times. I'm pretty sure Jorgensen's fuel, Dalton has 2, Parker has fuel, and Calantoni 2. And then after that, the rest of the guys from Kevin King and 7th on back, 4 tires. We're going to see really now how big these tires are going to come into play. And Kevin, give or take, will we hit 5, if not 6 wide on the front straightaway here?
Yeah, I guarantee it is. The 19 did not take tires for that track position, so that'll be interesting to see if he can maintain here. So when the pace car goes off, everybody's going to get really tight, nose to tail, into the Geico restart zone. Green is out, and we got to watch for this checkup.
There they go. Kevin with the start. Calantoni, a little bit of a block. I'm sure Kevin's not
drive
gonna be too
on the
happy
outside.
about that.
2 teammates out there on the front. That'll be interesting.
4 wide, and Calantoni gets hit by Kevin.
Oh, no.
And cars scattering. Donaldson's involved.
Calantoni's down there doing the Hocevar.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he spins her around and the caution comes out.
Didn't hit anything, though.
Multiple cars involved.
Everybody missed that Hocevar thing from yesterday. That was amazing what he did.
The boy can drive a car.
Well, boop, push the reset button. Gonna do it again. I think Dalton and Wetzel are kind of upset because, boy, what a restart they got. They broke away really well. That looks a little Kyle Busch-like there.
That's just a tough corner. I mean, a whole bunch of checking up there. And Donaldson gets the worst of that. So once again, that snake-bitten season of the 91 car.
I'm not sure if if Cal and Tony understood how far in Kevin was there.
Well, it gets really tight, especially here because watch, Jorgensen's still technically clear. And right there gets caught. Look, I mean, there's your 5 wide almost right there. I mean,
yeah, I think, you look at what Cal and Tony did. He saw the car to the outside. What a good hands.
Yeah, right.
The car in front of him, Jorgensen, turns down just a little bit here, late, right here. And when he sees that, he turns down. You see him yaw right there. Mm-hmm. And as that car slides sideways, you'll see King will approach him very quickly.
You almost wonder. You wonder if Anthony had to get out of the gas when Jorgensen made that move, and obviously at that point Kevin's already committed.
Now, did Kevin get some damage from that? He took a front hit. Oh, that's a shot.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Driving it, flat. Now the car is carrying too much speed on the flat, so it's going to turn sideways again, down into the grass.
Kicking up
I'd be standing along the fence taking pictures right here.
I'm pretty sure if Pennick's watching still, he's going to be like, thank you for the
promotion. Right above the turn
here.
1 thing is where MRN is in that little Coca-Cola booth. He'd be screaming his head off. Trouble turn.
Old Moody. That's funny. Let's watch here. This is a good angle.
I love watching him while he's doing his thing up there.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, see that right little there. Juke, he turned the car left. That was a great shot right there. It really showed what happened. Oh, Donaldson, what a shame. Locked it down.
Now, King is on pit road, by the way.
And he was what? A half a foot from the fence there?
Oh, yeah.
He could have toward a left side nose, and he drove it from the moment he was sideways until he came to a stop. Right here, you see the car go sideways just a touch.
All right, so let's add the 26 of Gonzalez to damage. The 92 of Mitten got some damage.
The King didn't hit that hard. I don't see anything wrinkled on the nose or anything, but could be that he slid the tires and decided he wanted to go in and get 4 fresh ones.
Well, caution back down here at lap 60, and I think it's a good chance. We're going to step away one last time, get you one last break, come back, and get you to the finish here of this Sim500 NC811.org Cup Series race from the Pocono Raceway virtually on iRacing.
When do you plan on putting in that new fence we've been talking about since last summer?
I guess I could start tomorrow.
Protect the ones you love and protect your buried utilities by contacting 811 before you dig, either by phone, the web, or the NC811 app. Know what's below before you dig. Visit nc811.org to learn more.
All right, back we are here on the Captain Esports Network. Bobby Wetzel leading here with 29, make that 30 laps to go. As they just cross the line, complete lap 60, going to get one to go this time by. And what has been a ton of strategy. And now we're at that point where everybody's made potentially at a final pit stop. And now it's a matter of track position and getting everything you can get here. As Wetzel's going to take the outside lane here. Tyler Dalton going to be second. Josh Parker, Chad Coleman, Mike Kelly. And definitely some strategy coming into play here as Kevin King has come back to pit road there. Probably getting some damage fixed, it looks like, as he spent about a minute and a half on pit road. Medina, Sigmund, Schrader, all those guys on pit road after the caution just coming out. And Calantoni getting tangled up with King. It looked like just a checkup situation. Unfortunate break there for Anthony, as looks like Jorgensen was going to cut down. Anthony tried to jump out of it, and unfortunately King was committed and argy-bargy, as they call it in road racing. So unfortunate there. But Wetzel, the leader, as we'll come to the green. Of course, big storylines here. King looking for a 7th straight win. He's got some work to do now to get that one. Plenty of time, though, in 30 laps around this 2.5-mile triangle. Of course, you have other drivers that are trying to get the victory lane either for the first time or to, getting another win to get closer and closer as we sit roughly 9 races from the playoffs. That'll kick off in October. Next week we go to the Brickyard. So looking forward to being in Indianapolis as we come off of turn number 3 and coming to the green flag as Bobby Wetzel, Tyler Dalton, Josh Parker, Chad Coleman, Mike Kelly are top 5.
I think this is the furthest we've seen Kevin back in about 6 or 7 races, so be interesting to see how he runs in traffic as they charge turn number 1. They're still side by side back there to about 20th right now.
Ooh, Kelly slides up there to Jorgensen, got a little tight there as here comes Rivera, who was involved in an accident earlier. There's Justin Fuller, and you might be on. Here comes King. Inside, 4 wide down the back straightaway here. Something's got to give.
Yeah, how are they going to do this?
Oh!
26 backs out as the 17 is sideways on the outside.
Suddenly got into stone there. Nice save on his part. I was about to say King just took 5 spots on that lap so far, but
incredible.
What do we call this? As you being the B guy, I think you would know what we call that group back there where he is. The Hornet's Nest.
Yeah. Wow. You do want to be on the bottom when all that stuff is going on, at least. If everybody bounces off everyone. Look at his battle up front.
Yeah, Parker trying to get the lead from Wetzel. And Frito-Lay's number 81 car slides up the track himself. Wetzel's going to hold on. You just see this track is opening up, which is awesome. Oh, and around goes. Stone into 17. Caution out.
Looked like a tilt-a-whirl back there.
Turn 1 has become Calamity Corner.
That has been the hard spot as everybody charging up off the corner to the tunnel turn, trying to get the advantage on the entry of turn 2.
It looks like he did have some help. He had a little help from his friends. Now, if there's any driver, I want to make sure to see who it is first before I say what I'm going to say here. Oh, no. Oh, he got loose there. Never mind. I was about to say, if Joey Jatita got into him, if there's anybody that's allowed to hit you, it's Joey. Let's see that again.
That's just about the 3rd or 4th time we've seen that, right? Benfield showed that earlier.
Yeah.
Loose. That outside lane is treacherous over there.
I think what
Get up above that mark right there, and on exit, the car just will not turn.
And then, unfortunately, bam, slams on that inside wall. For hitting that wall pretty hard, I don't see any damage on the rear at all. Might have some more bracing on the rear of that car.
Unfortunately for everybody else, I think that's going to work out well for Kevin.
That's exactly what he needs is more cautions.
Yeah, the closer everybody is, the easier it is to make those 5-car passes like we saw before.
You know, another thing, too, this car is very susceptible for, I stole one of your words, for where a car is sitting there towards its inside, like right on its left front, to where the air just gets messed up and it'll bring that back end around. We've seen that a lot in real life. So that might be a factor also in what caused that car to kind of yeet itself around there.
Yeet.
Yeet.
Doug Sigmund, Brian Wertman still plugging away back there, 22nd and 23rd on the pylon.
Simley and Jatina going to come to pit road. Let's get Michael. Let's bring Michael up here. Hall of Famer, Mr. Michael Kelly, going to join us up here in the booth. Mike's been racing every night and avoiding tornadoes every night, it seems like. As Kelly joins us, Mr. Michael here, third position in what has been a topsy-turvy type of race. All the different strategies going on. Wetzel pitted at 44. You pitted at 55. Obviously, you're good to go to the finish on here. You've got that hot rod there of Kevin King, who's moved up 5 spots already. So what's the mindset thinking right now?
I really don't know. I feel like I'm in good shape. Of course, Kevin's going to be coming like a bat out of hell. I wish we would have just stayed green way back, even though that was a big wish. I know we've been having yellows about every 10 laps, but yeah, I just got into second there and had fresher tires than everybody. And if that race would have went green, I would have been in good shape for a podium. Not necessarily a win, but the Exalta Chevy Camaro ZL1's pretty damn fast, and I like this track, and I feel like I got a good shot at a podium, maybe a win. Who knows?
Has there ever been talk amongst the team to switch number colors for either you or Scott?
The numbers are different in the graphics, man.
You got to fool us a little bit more than that.
Well, the other one, like the trucks in the Xfinity, the spoilers are different colors, but that don't really work on this car. But you might mix it up a little bit for the chase once we get into the chase, make it easier for you guys.
You talking about paint schemes or numbers? No.
Paint schemes.
So, in all seriousness, though, one thing I've noticed about tonight, how tough it is to pass on the bottom.
Oh, my Lord.
Talk about that a little bit.
Well, it's just the car's a little loose down there, so you can get down into the corner good, but when you have to come off and get on the throttle, it's just the car wants to just get a little bit loose, and you need all the track to carry that momentum, and it's just really hard. I mean, I had better tires than all those guys earlier when I was up to 5th trying to race with them, and it was a lot of fun, but it was really hard to pass them even with fresher tires. So hopefully we can just go green here and get a good run to the finish and go for the win.
I think for Kevin's bedtime's sake, yes, I agree with that 100%. Even though Kevin's on the West Coast now, right now, so
yeah, that's all we need is him coming through.
The night is young.
It's only 7 o'clock where he is. You know. Well, no, I'm talking about Mr. England here, who's on the West Coast tonight. So it's only 7 o'clock for him, so he's good.
Yeah.
So
well, it should be an exciting finish. Hopefully, it'll be cleaner than it has been.
All right, buddy. Hey, best of luck.
Thank you.
And he's talking about Kevin King, who's over in California. So they're both at 7 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
Right now on the West Coast. We appreciate. I'm with the wrong guy. That's funny.
Don't move Kevin.
I kicked Kevin out accidentally.
All right, I'll just announce the rest.
Yeah, we'll let Mike take over for Kevin. Make sure I turn your mic on, Kevin. Or Mike. Anyways, all right, we'll get him down to his channel there. Can you tell? I've only done one broadcast in like 10 days, so I'm still kind of got the rust in me a little bit here. So, obviously brings up the good points there about, obviously, the cautions and the roles they're playing, how tough it is to pass out there. Just a lot of factors.
Yes, I look at this restart. You got teammates lined up on the outside. Traditionally, the two on the bottom line don't work well together, but frenemies is what you need on these restarts. You want somebody to push you really well. So this will be interesting, and we'll see whether or not Wetzel and Dalton can team up again to get a good run down to turn number 1. Is gotta watch the checkup here.
Coming up to the green
Dalton
flag.
Did not get a good start at all.
Not at all. 23 laps to go. And oh, by the way, do you know who won last year's race here? Josh Parker, who runs there in the 2nd position, inside lane. And matter of fact, one added factor we should talk about here in this race: 10 laps longer this season than last season, which had 9 cautions in that event. So kind of looking like 2023 all over again with 10 longer laps. As Wetzel clears to the lead, here comes Mike Kelly on the outside.
Let's give a call to Bobby Wetzel, man. What a good run he's having here. He and Tyler just have something about this racetrack. I've seen them run this place. Whenever Pocono comes to town, you could bet the two of them will be somewhere up in the front. Wetzel holding tough there. Is on the charge on the bottom is Mike Kelly, but he talked about how hard it is to pass. So I don't know, Chris, you got to go when it presents to you. So here's the place you could use the inside.
It sure, yeah. You used it on the fresh tires, but Wetzel
down about to the start-finish line and duck out of line.
Yeah, try to get the draft.
You want to make that pass. High bomb turn number 1.
As Fuller does so, goes to the inside of Dalton, going to make the pass, going to bring Jorgensen with him. The one thing, no, is Wetzel has been out since lap 44. So he is working on lap number 23 right now in his run, as he's got 10 lap older tires than the rest of the field here. So you wonder if he's maybe in fuel save mode with all these yellows, trying to go to the finish of this race. As Calantoni tank slaps into the wall. And more contact. Medina and Eric Arnold as Arnold spins in front. And locks it down, brings a caution. Well, this Wetzel strategy's not looking so bad right now.
Yeah, you have to wonder what these cycles are doing to the tires as they cool off every... if you're out there on something where you're running, older tires, this might actually play to your favor.
As caution waves again here,
Bobby pitted, 44 laps ago? Everybody else is 55.
Yeah, Wetzel pitted at lap 44, and then, of course, in 55, you see right there where Calantoni gets the wall. Arnold almost maybe panics a little bit there, gets down into Medina, and a couple of the 811 cars tangle. Nice job by everybody to miss the 31. Yikes.
That would have been a huge hit. There's a couple guys that are just kind of riding out in the back. Slowly but surely the attrition takes through, and they're going to end up with a decent finish if they just keep their nose clean. Thinking about Mark Schrader, the number 35, currently running in 17th. Alan Wild running 20th, just kind of pacing himself back there in the 15 Ford. And if you hang around long enough, eventually you can run that last stint and make a couple passes. You're in line for a top 10.
Trying to see if there was contact between Gonzalez and Arnold there.
Didn't feel like it. Just one of those woofty-doos coming up out of the corner.
Kevin Brown.
Sometimes you're.
Go ahead.
Sometimes you're pitched over so hard on the right side coming off the corner, holding it, and it just unloads and swings back the other way. Look at this.
Tyler Dalton.
Is he going to take 4? You're going to take 4, right? There's no reason not to at this point. They're having a talk in chat, those two. You can guarantee it. Where Tyler would have said 2 tires or no tires, this is where they say, let's go get 4 and fill it up. Although they may not fill it. They didn't take any.
Tyler didn't take tires. You know what I wonder if Tyler's doing? He's already seeing how this race is looking. Could he be getting himself prepared for overtime?
I don't understand why you wouldn't take tires, although
does he not have any?
He has this mysticism sometimes that no tires is faster than new tires.
You got to remember though too, if he's only taking 2 tires at times, he loses the right side tires. So
true.
The left sides are kind of not important at that point. So I wonder if that's where he's at in his situation here. But I think he might be preparing for overtime if that comes here. So that could be an interesting play on Dalton's part here. Lose the track position here a little bit and try something different. But Kevin Brown in chat asking, how many cautions so far? I want to say we're, 7 or 8?
Yeah, I don't have my normal stat stuff on this machine, so I can't rightly tell you.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have the number either. I'm not one that keeps track of paper here. I leave that to Kevin. He does all the work on the paper. I just look at the stats.
I have to think about some of these drivers who wanted to go green. This has got to be frustrating.
Charles Van Schaik with the update, fresh from the 12th position.
There you go.
Cautions for 23 laps. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you, Charles.
Kevin Brown needs a recap. Okay. I can get you kind of a recap here. Let's see. Kevin King's led some laps. Fuller's led some laps. Kelly led a few. Parker's led. Justin Mons has had a great run tonight. Wetzel hasn't pitted since lap 44. A lot of different pit strategies until We got the caution right about 37 laps to go, where everybody then was able to come to pit road and put everybody back to where they can go distance on fuel without overtime. There's been wrecks, a few single ones, good racing, tough to pass. Kevin's in Seattle. I think I've covered it all.
The other Kevin running 6 just keeps pitting and charging back through the field. At one point, he had like a 4-second lead. Well, this time the 9 does not have the 19 lined up behind him, but the 51. So he's done a masterful job on these restarts, Bobby Wetzel. Outstanding job.
So as we get ready for the green flag to come back out here, just actually throw it out some numbers here really quickly. Taking a look at the... Kevin gives me a compliment. Hey, how's the cat, by the way? Just looking at waiting for the stats. The good here's when you know you've done a lot. I've learned this about SimRacer Hub, which is an app or a website that a lot of leagues use, including Sim500. They've done so many races and so many stats. It takes a couple of seconds for everything to load up for me to be able to see the stats for Sim500. So stand by and I'll get you the stats on Pocono in this series. As Wetzel brings him to the green. And you think I'm lying, by the way, I'm not.
Bobby's out by 2 car lengths. They're side by side for second. We'll see how that shakes out as they head to turn number 1. Bottom line seems to have the advantage. Nose ahead for Mike Kelly is a good hard charge from the 51 of Fuller to the outside.
I watched Jorgensen and Mons about get into each other there. As King
feels like you want to be in the outside lane coming off that corner.
Yeah, I agree 100%. The way these cars get the momentum, the high line is where you want to be coming off the corner. If you cannot complete a pass, there's likely going to be a freight train going by you on the outside. Oh, into the wall goes Jatina.
He's around the 91 around again.
Donaldson, yep.
Wesley Donaldson just can't buy a break.
Tyler Dalton barely got through there. And Joey Jatina, knowing him, there might be a gasket in turn 3.
Pop.
Pretty much. Well, there we go. We've matched the cautions from last season, which is interesting because remember I mentioned earlier 10 laps longer this season? 18 laps to go right now. There'd be 8 to go if it was last season. See what happens here. Oh, Kevin, a little bit of net code, slight net code. Oh, Dalton does get damage.
He did. I did not see that. He whacked the wall pretty well. The 84 was also in it.
Yeah.
I have to wonder if Joey was keeping an eye on the car up to the right of him who was in that outside lane. It was Scott Simley. Watch Scott Simley. He missed the corner. He's out in like Omaha. And you just wonder if Joey was going slow to make sure that was
not a good incident to be in if you're in the Sim500 Mafia channel.
Yeah.
A tough break there as caution comes out again.
The good news is with the cautions here, it takes forever for the cars to cycle around. So Joey has at least a lot of time to get the damage fixed. And how about this play for Bobby Wetzel?
It's working.
Just continues to fall right in for him.
I mean, he's looking pretty good here as of right now. Actually, pulling up the history here of the racing for Sim500 and the Sunday series here. Of course, the Xfinity series presented by NC811, as they've done a ton of races here at the Pocono Raceway. As I look at the Legacy track, they actually have never made a start at the Legacy track. It's all been the new track here since the inception in 2018. And this is actually the Cup Series, not the Xfinity Series, Scala. We're at Monday. You got to work tomorrow. So it's going to be a minute as I re-update the stats. But obviously, you know, they race here once a season. And I mentioned that Josh Parker in 81 went to victory lane in the race last year. And the question is, can he do it again? Of course, all these yellows are helping out people like Kevin King as he tries to get through the field. You see him there in the 6th position. You see Chad Coleman with a chance to get a win here. Mike Kelly, Justin Fuller. As now we got this updated road quickly. This is the 11th race altogether at Pocono. They did make one start in a Cup Series at the old track. Jose Gonzalez won that race back in 2017. And in that race, believe it or not, we had 7 cautions in that race. But then the new track came in, and this is the 10th race, 11th race at this track. We've had 6 different winners in the 10 starts, and pretty much all but 2 of them have had 5 or more cautions. So there's been some higher numbered cautions in these events. There's even a doubleheader, it looks like, in 2020 here. They ran in one night, 2 races. Matter of fact, they did in 2021 too. They ran 2 races in one night. And in since 2022, it's been an 80-lap race, and now up to 90 this season here. So interesting. Adam Gilliland was a fan of those doubleheaders. It looks like, as he won 2 of the 4.
Yeah.
Nick
Damage to the 15. Alan Wild, he hit the right side. I wonder if he broke a toe link. He has pulled it behind the wall. That is the year, is it? I'm trying to think back. When COVID was going, we saw 2 races at Pocono.
They did do 2 races. They tried to do it, what was it, 2 different, 1 year or 2 years? I know they did a couple of split
1 year
events.
I was there.
Right, the Saturday and Sunday. And I forget the reason
Greatest
why.
weekend racing ever.
Yeah, because you had what? Wasn't that the day where they ran all 3 series in one day because of weather?
Yeah, you had the ARCA, the truck, Xfinity, and 2 Cup races in one weekend.
Wow. Let's see, winners at Pocono here in the series. Greg Evans won the first one back in June of 2018. Cohan in July, then Daniel Falkingham in 19, and then Gilliland, Nick Cohan again, then Gilliland again, and Falkingham again, and then David Comstock and Josh Parker. And they've been one a year for the last 3 years. So it's a track that people enjoy, but there are times when people don't enjoy it too.
Yeah, speaking on that, it's been an eventful night for the duo of Cal and Tony and the 19 of Tyler Dalton. They're back there 18th and 19th right now, and they need to see some luck go their way. They've just been, from the middle of the race on, not having the race that they were looking for after representing up front for the first half of the event.
We'll take the green flag here. 15 laps to go. Bobby Wetzel, who again has not pitted since lap 44, leads this race. Everybody else is pitted at 55 or later, as that track position has continued to work well for the 9 car. A little checkup there as everybody tried to get a good start. It's a drag race down to turn 1.
Not as good a restart here for the 9 as Fuller to the bottom.
As King puts him 3 wide, almost 4 wide with Parker, Justin Mons there. Oh, careful. Kelly's going to get hooked into Coleman. And this is going to be big.
This is going to be half the field.
Parker involved, Calantoni.
Parts and pieces all over the racetrack.
And unfortunately, carnage on the Long Pond straightaway. That was unfortunate there. It looked like just a bunch of people going for the same track position here. I mean, you see Jorgensen kind of there in the middle, going to get the run up the middle. And it looks like he just gets a little loose.
That could have been a lot bigger than it was. I'm not saying it wasn't.
Rodolasso with damage. There's a good amount of cars in this one. Let's crash cam this one.
This almost feels like that right side, tight, and then it binds, unbinds. Watch the 88.
Right there.
He's on it, and the car just swings a little left when it
Mons gets through. How about Gonzalez? Wow.
Wow. Schrader just missed that. And there's your friend stopped in the back, just making sure he didn't.
Doug Sigmund.
Yeah, Doug. Just, getting on the binders.
Watch Jose here. Just jumps on him. Yeah, oh, never mind. He did hit somebody right there. He did clobber Coleman, it looks like. I didn't see that contact at first. All right, so that didn't look as good as it could have. You mentioned...
Yeah, see the Schrader car went just from outside to inside, zipped right through the zone. Almost looked like somebody where the blocker opened the line for him, and he went through the hole. Went through the pocket.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, if you was blocked coming off the corner here, you might see a puff of smoke. Everything checks up. You go left right here. Missed it, sees a car, goes to the left, misses it, swings down, misses the inside wall, and drives away unscathed. Well done.
All right, well, we got some cars, all damaged ones, getting fixed up here. Yeah, a whole bunch
Two
of them.
Exalta cars. Which one is which?
Well, what I was going to say earlier, you should have seen last night, we had Seth Fowdy in the Exalta car. We had 3 of them. Thankfully, his number was white, so it was like we were okay. And check this out. After the incident there, Justin Fuller is the leader now. So Fuller was able to clear the 9. And that's big for this moment because now he's going to have control of the restart. So Wetzel will be second. Kevin King will be third. Mark Jorgensen in the 4th position. Justin Mons now up there in the top 5.
I know you're familiar with this, Chris. It's the spaghetti diagram shows where the driver was running in a position. Sometimes they start up front, they pit, they go underneath, and then the diagram shows the mountain of them climbing back to the front. This thing must look like, I don't know how to explain it. The amount of driver position changes that have occurred from both the pit stops and the incidents. This has to be one of the most complex, you got Eric Arnold and Scott Simley and Schrader and all these people we were talking about, Tyler Dalton and such. You never know. It's not been consistent up front or through the middle because of the complexity of this race.
No, I agree 100%. Their cars have been all up and down the board with strategies and stuff, and that was pretty much up until the point where they got their last pit stop needed for fuel, and now you're seeing the guys work for track position and stuff, and doing what they have to do to stay up front in this race. That's worked out, and we've seen this field just thin out. I mean, you look, there's not many cars now in this pack here. As I'm looking over at the list of cars behind the wall right now, I mean, we got, Mike Kelly with a lot of damage. He's back on track. Callan Tony's off track. Jatina, Alan Wild, Scott Stenzel, Stoney Benfield, Joe Hudson, Glenn Campbell, Robert Friery, not to mention Richard Beasley and Seth Fowdy are not even showing up for the race. So definitely been a lot of issues. And for those, by the way, who are listening and thinking, wait, there's something with Kevin's mic. Yes, remember, Kevin is actually in Seattle doing the broadcast tonight on a laptop. So big shout out to him for helping us out tonight on the broadcast. So you might notice he goes in and out at times or whatever. And he's doing the best he can over there. And credit to the man for being sleepless and joining us tonight.
An interesting twist to this is we have a Toyota leading a Chevy, Ford, Chevy. Justin Fuller, the only Toyota in the top 10 here in that Camry. And I don't know, I've never really figured out, Chris, whether that makes a difference or not. Obviously in the real world it plays, but never sure here in the sim if that actually is an advantage or
You just reminded
just
me
cosmetic.
You just reminded me of something that was brought up earlier today about Chevrolet and their recent racing that was brought up after the race last night at Pocono. It's, when you look at Hendrick Motorsports, outside of those 4 drivers, did you know the next best Chevrolet finished 16th yesterday at Pocono? A little bit of a problem there. As Fuller goes to the green and to the lead with the restart, Jorgensen and Wetzel going to drag race down the front straightaway to turn 1. Let's see, King's going to pop out. Is Mons going to go with him? He stays there, and here comes Rivera into the picture now.
Difficult out of turn number 1. We'll see if everybody can keep it straight. So complicated as one thing to note, the 88 looks like the back end of that car is punched in.
Might add some damage. And you got Jose Gonzalez has got a modified. That car's going to plow. Oh, and Fuller just got the outside wall off too.
Just have a little sound bite where we could say Fuller into the outside wall on the exit of the corner. Just push the button like a soundtrack.
Have like an alert system or something.
Take a shot every time we say it.
Oh, don't do that. No, we can't do that. Battle for
Mons.
third. Yeah, Mons.
Yeah.
As
on the run.
King has gotten the second. Mons trying to get third from Wetzel, and here comes Rivera, going to send it in there on Jorgensen. They almost hit each other.
Put those inside cars, send it in for 3rd and 4th, 4th and 5th, or 5th and 6th. So didn't work out for the bottom line on either one. I think King is in here kitty mode.
I think that's... Oh, they're going to get into each other.
Oh,
Fuller!
And Fuller's going to go around.
Oh, wow.
Saved it, though. That's going to require some discussion after the race.
And King
As
to
he
the
has
lead.
not one for mincing words. They're 3 wide almost here for that second position behind him.
I think
Way
Mons had
down
a,
to
yeah.
wave at the pit crew goes the 88 of Jorgensen. Hello, fellas, watch this.
I think Mons got out of shape or something, because Jorgensen had to avoid all of a sudden. There was a big checkup right there. Let's go back to this lead battle here. I want to see, was there some argy-bargy? Fuller got loose. If
Yeah,
there
just
was
got loose. He was tight to the back bumper. If he did tap him, it was right at the time where you could have just reached out with your hand and made the tap.
I don't know if you can put anything on King there. As obviously Fuller got loose. He's Jatina coming back to pit road with that damaged car. But King out to a 2.2 second lead with 8 laps to go. Now, here's that point of the race, Kev, where you asked earlier who's got tires left.
Yeah.
If you're going to be Kevin, you better have a set of tires left. And even then, it might not work. Because Tyler Dalton 3 wide inside. For
Well, he
6th.
sent it down there. And he did not change tires, but his car stuck like glue. Don't sing the song.
Nope, I'm not going there.
He's going to come back for a top 5 here, which is a tremendous turnaround for him given the night he's had. He's been the most consistent as they are sideways right in front of him.
All types of racing back here.
These drivers know it's go time. Inside 10 to go. They're going to just basically lay it on the line. Two
loose.
against the outside wall. You saw that. Is he going to save it? He did.
Coleman and King or Stone got together, and then Stone hip checked Kelly and had to save it. Everybody good. We stay green here. 7 laps to go. Wetzel still somehow in the second position. Mons up to 3rd.
Yeah, now Justin Fuller is going to try and do whatever he can to climb back up to where he thinks he belongs. That he is just on the chip right now trying to get through. He is following Chad Coleman. Coleman found a moving buddy here. I found my moving buddy as Fuller's been pushing him through the field here.
Wesley Donaldson is somehow in the 4th position. Van Schaik with a save. As Wetzel now trying to hold off Donaldson. Rivera's up here. Jorgensen's up here. Fuller's back up in the top 10. Jose Gonzalez has got a modified in the top 12. I've seen it all in about the last 3 laps.
I had a ticket of pen and crossed off the 91 at some point. I didn't think he was going to be able to make this recovery, but to sit here just outside a podium, possibly looking to knock that out tonight, that is an amazing recovery.
Yeah. I've counted
where does King's in like a different zip code? That 88 just has not had any grip for the last 10 laps.
Wetzel just got big time loose in front of Donaldson, just lost 5 spots. So Donaldson up to 3rd, and Wesley's been involved in 3 different wrecks. At one time got his nose ripped off. Oh, and now Fuller and Simley dooring each other.
And quietly sitting there in second is the guy we spoke, the ancient World Gaming number 41 of Justin Mons. It looks like he's on cruise control. He's got nothing for the 29 of King, who's down in turn 2 as they come off turn 1. But wow, great run for Justin Mons.
Yeah, Mons having another great run. I think it was just a few weeks ago, I believe he had a top 3 run, and now he's looking to get another one here tonight as he's held that track position, done a great job here this evening. Wesley Donaldson holding on there in 3rd. Tyler Dalton up to the 4th position now. I mean, again, I bring it up. If we go to overtime, does Tyler Dalton have a fuel advantage over the field here? Is now all of a sudden Rivera and Coleman door each other?
Yeah, Coleman, he used every inch of the racetrack, and he's on the charge here as he works his way for a top 5 tonight.
Rivera going to send it in there. Coleman probably going to slide up just a little bit here. See if he uses
that was
it. He'll use them up some more.
8 is better than 4.
Jeez.
That is physically door-to-door bang. Who's braver than who going down through that corner? That's pretty much what it ends up as.
Oh, I think they both have gone brave here. As it looks like Wesley pushed up the track. Here comes Tyler for 3rd. And Tyler clears. Well, Dalton is moving here. I don't know if there's... Can he get up to the 2nd position here? But he's surely going to try. And don't call me Shirley.
Well, out back, everybody's trying to get whatever they can for whatever positions, and this isn't over yet. We might see a late race caution.
Fuller up to the 6th position. Is he going to pass Rivera now? And clears him.
Yeah, heartbreak at this point for the 10th place driver, Mark Jorgensen Jr. He had such a good run, but the car just seemed to lose the handling in this last 10 laps. And what was a top 5 run for the whole night, he'd be one that would benefit from a caution late.
And Donaldson back underneath Dalton here. So these two just go into battle now. Tyler.
Justin Fuller has come back to 7th after that incident earlier.
Unreal. What a battle. And yeah, obviously Fuller doing a great job climbing. Whatever.
Look at these guys run down the 41, Chris. They're there.
They're there. Yeah, these two have kind of drafted off each other as they battled each other. Mons trying to hold them off on that top side. He's trying to break the draft. Might have hurt himself a little bit there. Only because he turned down pretty quickly. And you got to be careful how quick you turn down because it can scrub speed. As they're through the tunnel turn. And this is all happening behind Kevin King. Who, oh, by the way.
Not on the same straightaway.
Yeah, Kevin King, his last race he did not win. You got to go all the way back to May. This man is now 2.5 miles away from 7 straight wins. I mean, May 6th was the last race he did not win at Kansas Speedway.
Did it the hard way tonight. He pitted late. It drove his way back through the field. And then just got out in front, got in clean air, and gave the high sign. See ya.
You can only imagine the conversations that are going to happen here after this race as Rivera looks back to the inside of Fuller now. Oh, and bam! They hit each other hard.
Yeah, there's going to be some interesting conversations after this.
Wetzel and Simley get together, but Kevin King continues to run the show here in the Cup Series in Sim 500 as he will see the victory in the checkered flag for a 7th straight time.
They're beating and banging for second. They're going to crash
and Mons
after the finish is over, but Mons got him at the line.
Dalton third, Donaldson fourth.
Wow. What a race to the finish for those two.
Wow, yeah. No kidding on that one. Let's go back and show you that again. That was enticing. There's the contact with Rivera and Fuller. King brings it off of 3, and I mean, just incredible what he's been able to do. Not surprising, but incredible. As their King takes the win, and back here, all of a sudden, Dalton gets the run on Mons. They door each other a little bit there. More contact, more contact.
Tell you, if they kept playing a little bit there, the 91 of Donaldson might have slipped by both of them.
Where have I seen that picture before, if that would have happened?
That's a season best for Justin Mons, that race that he put together. Is Kevin doesn't have Richard Beasley to come over and give him a little salute.
Oh, I'm sure he's going to get some kind of shout out somewhere. And Kevin just continues to just roll. That's, I mean, can extend that points lead a little bit more. And he said it multiple times when we talked to him that it has not been easy. And tonight definitely wasn't easy. He had to come to pit road after the contact with Cal and Tony, and so let's take a look at the finishing results here. And we'll talk to our top 3 as King wins it. Mons second by 3/100ths over Dalton. Donaldson 4th, Coleman 5th, Fuller 6th, Wetzel 7th, Scott Simley finishes 8th. Nelson Rivera and Kevin Stone your top 10. Mark Jorgensen Jr. 11th. Charles Van Schaik 12th, Jose Gonzalez 13th, Mike Kelly and Eric Arnold end up in the top 15. How about Gonzalez with no nose, getting a top 13 finish in the 26 car. Sigmund 16th, Schrader 17th, Wortman 18th, Rod Alasso finishing 19th, Rod Mitten 20th. The rest of these cars were involved in something tonight. Medina 21st. Shout out to Joey Jatina, who literally was driving a hunk of junk around the track the last few laps, finishing 22nd. Calantoni 23rd. Parker 24th. Alan Wild 25th. Stenzel, Benfield, Hudson, Campbell, Friery, and then Beasley and Foudy. Unfortunately not able to make the event this evening. So going to be some interesting combos, as you said, here tonight when it's all over with. But let's first bring up the comeback kid, if you will, tonight. Finishing in the 3rd position, Tyler Dalton using the strategy and all when it was over with here. Man, what a race, what a tough one it was this evening. But you were able to bring home a top 3 finish in a great comeback for you.
Yeah, we had a lot of good things, and then a lot of bad things happened, and a lot of good things.
Yeah.
I was running pretty good early on, just going to try to save my stuff. Then everyone sort of got a little bit off sequence with tire strategy. Of course, I come in and get tires, and then wreck happens right in my lap. Somehow it was only like 45 seconds of damage. But then when I come into pit with 25 to go to get my tires, they don't put the tires on it. So I've got to come back in. And I was going to be happy with 3rd there, that last corner, and then mine looks like he overshot the corner. And had a good run on him for 2nd there. I'm not sure what all the dooring was about. I'm not sure I'd have done that to somebody for 2nd, but just glad that we didn't get wrecked there, and glad we were able to hold on for 3rd.
Well, obviously a great run, and you brought up that caution where you came to pit road for tires. Was that also a strategy where you were putting fuel in the car to know that, you know what, if this race did go to overtime with the way the trend was going, you had enough?
No, fuel really wasn't an issue at that point. I knew I had one set of tires left, and I didn't want to really use them until 25 to go. And a lot of guys came down, I think, with about 35 to go. I just didn't want to use my last set then. It was definitely hard to pass with or without tires. If you'd finally get a run, the tires would finally start to mean something, which is what you saw there sort of towards the end. But on the little short 5-6 lap runs, tires really didn't mean anything. You saw, I mean, Bobby was fast, but you saw Bobby out there on really old tires staying in the lead for a really long time. You saw Fuller up there with the really old tires. Tires didn't mean as much until a certain point of the run.
Well, it worked out for you to come back and get yourself a third place finish here tonight. Congratulations on that, and send some shout out to whoever you like to.
I just want to thank all the guys down there in the Sim500 Misfits. Good finish for me and Wesley both there. Hate Anthony got involved in a few incidents as well there, but just everybody at Sim500, everybody at 811, make sure you call before you dig. Everyone at South Carolina 811, everyone at Trans Service Logistics, and you for putting on the broadcast.
Appreciate it. Appreciate your time, Tyler, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
You too. Tyler Dalton, third place finish for him. Obviously an up and down night for pretty much all these drivers here. So congratulations to him on the third place run. Good comeback there. And one of the more consistent drivers tonight, man. Ran up in the top 5 almost most of this race. Didn't really have the... You talked earlier about the spaghetti graph, or the yo-yo, if you will. Justin Mons run up front all night here and finishes in the top 3. And Kev, you got him.
Yeah, first thing I have to say, Justin, is congratulations. You avoided the Scala curse and found yourself back to the podium. But take us through that last lap. When you came off of turn number 1, you had about a 2-car length lead. Great entry through the tunnel turn. And then turn 3, it kind of went backwards. And what a drag race you guys had out to the start-finish line.
Yeah, I knew he had the tire advantage behind me. So my thought going into 3 was to take the high line away and just have the straight shot off, because I know he was going to be able to turn underneath me and I would be vulnerable to a bump and run. And in that state, coming off that corner, it was very loose. So a bump is not what you want in that situation. So I just tried to figure out the best course of action there to maintain at least a podium finish. And I chose what I chose. And you know, he caught up to me on corner exit and we drag raced down the straight, and, you know, little door banging. I kind of got into him a little more aggressively than I wanted to on the second bump, but I wasn't just going to let him have P2 and just let him slide by. Like, no, I'm making contact 100%.
All's fair in love and war, right? Coming down.
Yeah,
to
we're coming to the
line.
we're coming to the damn checkered flag. I don't want to hear any crying about that. I didn't wreck him. I maintained my position. He finished 3rd. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I think you could apologize for it later and come away with the 2nd place finish. Mr. King was just gone. I'm not sure what you guys need to do to throw a rope out and hook on the back of him or something, but the rest of the race was eventful and you were competitive all through the night. What was the mix or the balance you needed to keep yourself up front and keep people from sliding underneath you?
Well, watching Fuller, honestly, riding behind him a good bit, you know, kind of saw some lines that, you know, seemed to work pretty well. And I got behind Kevin a little bit once I was able to see him. Saw just a couple of different racing lines that I've never tried, just moving up a half a groove basically. And that seemed to do really well. And then me and Fuller staying out on the same strategy with tires, because that's one thing I knew going into this race, that the tires weren't going to be nearly as dominant as people were thinking. So it's cool to see someone else on that same strategy, but it was just a battle of getting the straightest exit possible and getting the long straightaway speeds. That's what kept your momentum up, and then side drafting if you were on the bottom, you know, to hell and back just to try and maintain. But the top side was definitely most dominant, and you were just fighting to get to the top as much as possible. And that's the only line that was really moving, unless you dive bomb somebody, but then you're giving it up on the exit, so it's like pointless. So it was just a bunch of back and forth, really, just trying to figure out what worked best in what situation. But yeah, definitely eventful from the driver's seat. That the wreck with Coleman, or I guess it was Coleman. I nearly got tangled up in that one. That was eventful.
You talk about the top line being dominant and just kind of working your way through the race, but I got to come back to something. How hard is it to change a line in the middle of the race? The risk versus reward of saying, well, I see what they're doing, but you know how it is. Sometimes you follow somebody and they make a change, or you make the change to try and adjust it. You end up just not figuring out something that they had to use that line.
Right.
I'm fascinated at the fact that you were willing to try that during the race, and whether it paid off or not.
It's the name of the game, really. The track changed quite a bit on the bottom. I noticed it was significantly slicker, especially in turn 2. It was just moving around and figuring out how to position the car to where you're not slipping the right rear to make it uncomfortable to drive. And it took a few laps to get used to it. It felt really weird on entry. I'm not normally a very aggressive driver. I like to let the tires come to me and then I'll start making my push. But today I was like, I want to push a little bit. I want to see what this thing's capable of doing, because I like this track. I'm pretty good here. I know what I'm capable of, but can I push the car a little bit more in the beginning of the run to maintain and not lose spots like I normally would, and just try and pounce on them as the tires burned off. And that's exactly what happened. And I saw the reward of where I finished because of it. It's just, I guess you could say, doing homework. I watched last year's, or 2 years ago, whenever I was in the league. I watched that video back and saw some things I did, and just adjusted. And it helps to watch Fuller and Kevin King, 2 of the best in Sim500. So kudos to them for finding that stuff out. I just picked it up.
Scored a second place. 0.03 of a second was the difference. Not even, I don't think. And who do you want to give a shout out to there, Justin? Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Obviously, Ancient World Gaming, my team over there, Miss Weeks, our CEO. I saw she was in chat, so shout out to all them and our partners that are on the car. Gamer Advantage, Sword Dog, Advanced.gg, Next Level Racing, Tango Paints for the beautiful paint schemes that they give us every week. Shout out to you guys. You always put on a fantastic show. Love watching these races back. NC811, thank you to all those guys for their continued support of the series. And looking forward to getting some more racing in. This 2-week break was too long.
There you go, Justin Mon, second place tonight to Kevin King, and a really eventful race, and able to pull down a top running finish and come away with second. We'll turn it over to Chris, who's going to talk to Kevin with another win.
Yes, Kevin King getting his 7th win in a row here as he continues to roll along. But as he has said multiple times, and tonight falls along that same category. It was not easy, as some things happened. Obviously, a little contact there with some obviously hard racing there in the back, some checking up and things. But you were able to work your way up there through the field and get the win. Obviously, congratulations on that. But talk about it, man. It was definitely wild watching you work your way back.
Yeah, it was something. Was it fun to watch? I mean, I know we had some pretty epic. I know Mark and I were talking about going 4 wide on the front stretch, but yeah, I went back and watched the thing with Calvin Tony, and I thought I was pretty low, and I think he might have just checked up and turned left to avoid Mark going into that corner, which made it. That's why I asked him. I was like, I think it looked like he got hit the way he turned left, but yeah, more of a racing incident. I definitely didn't want to try to hit anybody, but you had to be super aggressive because the passing was really tough to do. We were getting short runs, and at that point, the mindset for a lot of people is, we got to get everything you can, which leads to more wrecks. So it's one of those things where it's just like a sandpit of just unfortunate situations. But yeah, I got lucky there off of one when they all kind of clumped up together and wrecked. I gained like 5 spots out of that. And then I was hoping we are going to have a really cool race with Justin, but unfortunately he got really loose off the tunnel turn and allowed me to get by. But yeah, I had some adversity, but definitely I feel like I drove a really good race. I thought I had really good pace and overall, and was just happy to bring it home.
Yeah, and worked out for you. Obviously, going to victory lane in this race, and talk about the racing itself, because when you guys were green, I mean, there was some wild 2, 3, 4 wide racing, but I think a lot of it too was momentum, because it just seemed like if you did not make the pass on the inside, it was kind of like the old gen, the next gen car when they would ran the 550 package. It was like if you didn't make the pass, here comes the line to your outside.
Yeah, it was super frustrating. There's a lot of times I went to the corner thinking I was going to pass some people, and I was getting passed by 3 others on the top. So, unfortunately, with the way this package is, the high side with momentum is just insanely fast. Even if you're, let's say you're 5 mile an hour slower than someone through the corner, like they just gain it all the way back, right. Which makes people drive a little bit harder, and they slide up a little bit more. They get a little bit more loose because they're getting on the throttle a little bit harder. So that part was frustrating, but I felt like for me, the bottom was always going to be the preferred lane for me, especially in 3. So I sent it pretty aggressively on a lot of people into 3 because I felt pretty confident holding the line. But yeah, it was definitely momentum, making sure you set up the passes correctly, make sure you utilize the draft correctly all the way through, and hoping that you weren't going to turn 1 and going to plow up the track and kill someone. So overall, it's definitely frustrating. I don't think anyone really likes this style of racing where it's hard to pass and the draft takes all the fun out of it. And it creates some issues, but I think overall, probably could have had a better race with a lot of people. But it's just the package needs some tweaking in terms of the aero aspect for sure.
Are we going to see very similar style racing at the Brickyard?
I got to be honest with you. I talked to some people. I streamed tonight for the first time in a while. I talked to some people who ran some A Open, and they said it was god awful.
Oh boy.
Which doesn't surprise me, because you just with this car, anytime it's flat, let alone super banked, it just the aero aspect is even worse. So, you can't enter the corner like you'd like to. You plow in the center. You have the train effect where everyone's just standing in line because they can't pass anyone because the low line gets so tight. Typically with this car, when you pass someone on the low line into the corner, the aero aspect just makes you so tight, and you're getting side drafts at the same time. It's literally impossible. So we'll see. If the track is hot enough, maybe we'll see some weeding out. Obviously, A Open stuff, guys are way more competitive with open setups and stuff, so a lot faster. But depending on how the fixed stuff drives, hopefully the racing gets better. But it's it's a typical flat track with aero, so not expecting too much.
Which could also mean that you end up seeing cars defend running like the middle groove at Indianapolis to keep that inside car from gaining that momentum off and finishing off the corner. So I think it's going to be interesting to see, man. Well, let's hope for a good race next week. But nonetheless, man, congratulations on another win, and send some shout-outs.
I want to shout out to Beasley. He didn't show up, so that was 2 less cautions.
He was in chat.
Yeah, I know, but he said that it's his favorite track, and he didn't show up, so it's kind of disappointing. But Rev Grips, my buddy Brandon Amar out there in Santee out here does those things. Trying to think who else. J Concepts, VRS, GSI. I just put those things on there for fun. But Team Conti, they've been allowing me to help them out on the RotoPro/Open stuff. So I appreciate those guys for allowing me to help and have some fun with that stuff. But the guys in the league, I know it was a tough track with all the aero draft fun. Enjoying for putting up with everybody, and of course you guys for putting on the broadcast. Can't wait to go watch. Hopefully the racing was good overall and was able to catch some good highlights. But yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem, man. Kevin King, the winner, of course, tonight, and he'll be ready to go at the Brickyard coming up here next week, and we'll see how that all turns out. But big congrats to him on getting another victory, 7th consecutive win for him on the series, and he just continues to roll along here and lead the point standings too, as he's got 10 wins now in 13 counted races officially. He's got more top 10s than counted races. I don't know how that works. He's got 14 total top 10s in 13 counted races. But either way, we'll show the point standings here in a second. But Kevin, man, that was, unfortunately we had yellows. But it was definitely, we saw some wild racing under the green flag.
Yeah, I think the yellows set up the interesting racing that we saw, so I'll never apologize for them. It's just part of, these guys just running full tilt. I have to say, the talk of the week might be the Kevin King, Justin Fuller contact out of turn 2 and people trying to decide what happened over there. I'll be back in Jersey next week for Indy, and I'm looking forward to see what kind of race we get out of that as we go back to the oval. I'm indifferent about that because I know that the track is complicated, but yet I think we'll see some interesting racing.
Yeah, and I thought about bringing that up. I thought about bringing that up to Kevin there in that interview, but it was like, the only reason I didn't was because it was something where it looks like Fuller just made the mistake and got loose, and then Kevin unfortunately had that momentum. And as he's trying to hold on to it, I mean, what's Kevin going to do? Jump on the brakes and miss him? I mean, it's hard to figure that all out. So it's just unfortunate deal there. So
if somebody spins himself out, you're going to finish the job.
You're going to finish the job.
Right?
Yeah, right. So
I understand.
Help him out. Here, go on. But
if you decided to spin, let me give you a little incentives. If anything, when you get on somebody's bumper like that, you spin them, you actually help them because it finishes them doing a full cycle and being able to get straight versus doing that long slide going down a clobber in the inside wall. So
well,
I'm sure Mr. Fuller would
right
to get you with our commentary.
Well, I mean,
he's never one to be shy about.
Well, and I can understand the frustration too, but he obviously ran a good race and just unfortunately just got a little loose there off turn 2, and it's just a tough situation there. But either way,
well, in the end, he came back for 6.
He did finish 6, so got the best of a bad spot. So
yeah, how about Bobby Wetzel hanging on there for 7th? I think that's a star moment for Bobby, given the tire wear he had. Just an outstanding way to hold on and finish the job tonight. And led a lot of laps and looked really competitive. Maybe the strategy didn't go fully his way, but ended up with a top 10, and I think that's a pretty respectful outing for that number 9 team.
As we look at the point standings here tonight, Kevin King leads by 112 now over Mike Kelly, Tyler Dalton, Chad Coleman. The top 4 stay the same. Wesley Donaldson moves up to 5th, Fuller up to 6th. Calantoni, Rivera, Gonzalez, and Comstock your top 10. Of course, Beasley falls 7 spots, not starting here tonight. Down at the bubble, still Cody Giles. Even though he wasn't here tonight, he is in 20th. Macklin right there. Joe Hudson gets closer. A lot of these guys getting closer because a lot of people weren't here tonight. So, either way, 30 drivers here still potentially can get up to 20th, and a lot of drivers trying to make their way into that top 20 to get into the playoffs coming up here in less than 10 races now officially. So, should be a little more tense as we get closer and closer. And, of course, next week, the Brickyard going to obviously add a little incentive because everybody wants to win at Indianapolis.
Yeah. It is Mecca, and you do want to win there. But I'm interested to hear Justin say he was reviewing race footage, previous broadcasts, and also looking at different lines and willing to make the change. It goes to demonstrate that these guys are doing their homework, and I'm happy to hear that from him.
That's how you get better, studying and practice. That's kind of how it all works out. So, Kev, appreciate your time, bud. Safe travels back to Jersey, and we will see you soon. So,
thanks, everybody. Have a good week.
Absolutely. Appreciate everybody from NC811 for, of course, sponsoring the series. Big shout out to Joey Jatina for allowing us to broadcast, as always, each and every Sunday and Monday night. We're back on Thursday night with a league broadcast, but, of course, we're back next Monday night from Indianapolis for the NC811.org Cup Series. Of course, Sunday night, too, for the Xfinity Series. They're going to be at Richmond for that series on Sunday. So a lot of great racing going on as we get back going from the 4th of July break. So everybody enjoy the rest of the Euro Monday night. I apparently have some weather coming towards me, so this ought to be interesting. Chicago's under a tornado warning. Yikes. Ooh. Weather! It's interesting around this world. As a matter of fact, Rochester, New York had a tornado warning earlier. It was kind of cool. Well, not cool for them, but interesting to see, I guess would be the right way to word that. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your Monday night, and always remember this isn't just a game, it's iRacing. See ya!
This copyrighted broadcast may not be reproduced, reused, or retransmitted in any form without the authorized written consent of Captain Esports Network. Captain would like to thank all of his loyal fans for your continued support, and he hopes you enjoyed today's broadcast.
The following is a special presentation. From the Captain